with the hilly. I can't PD and I can't find my willy. I'm just here for a little attention. Yeah, I got severe hypertension. So why you trying to get to know a Higgy better? Can't and whores, Bella's mom and Schmarietta. I don't know, I'll give it a go. ATF's big show, I ain't no hoe. I don't need a new man with the double D rack. Never mind, Higgy, your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? I'm not one of the girls trying to get locked down. Prince Higgy, baby, Jameson crown. I get down with the hilly low comp ticket. 16 whiskeys is how I kick it. And you get excited for a midnight snack. I already told you, your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? Your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that. I like sleeping alone. This won't go all night. A little needy and strange. It's true love at first sight. I'm the real deal. I do what I gotta do. From the rip, my whole heart's for you. Your whole heart is not for me. Not a half, not a quarter, not a clog, not a read. You know what's the problem? You're trouble and you're hot. I'm big, thick neck daddy Higgy. He's not. I got a question, not to be rude. Are you queer? Cause you keep calling me dude. Are you glad that you have walked me out? No self-doubt and you didn't cop out. No last words, I'll smother abide. Don't diss the caterpillar and sweat the butterfly. All of them girls must have got you gas. And when they see a good thing, they don't triple bypass. Well, for this town, that's right on track. Cause for me, your game's too whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? Game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that. What am I? Another pretty face getting you a drink from my military base? All I gotta know is why did you use me? You talking? Psh, excuse me. We can't have nothing. You wear depends. Well, if we ain't getting married, then we can't be friends. Well, then I guess it's nothing. Well, hey, I think you're puffing. Well, pass that weed. I won't weed whack nothing. You better catch a flashback. Remember, you ain't tapping it. You ain't my style, and I'm not having it. All I remember from that late night kiss is I'm more the mister, you're more the miss. Well, look, I treat you good. Treat yourself better. And I always call my mom. Write her a love letter. I greet you every day with a martini at the door. You won't last a year, your overgrown bed sore. Well, I'm known in this town, and now that's a piss. I got no one to blame but myself and Melissa. You didn't answer me, Karen. Am I a good kisser? Don't remember, had a lot of Hennessy. A lot of girls out there that won't say no. The ones you take to your crib with Berkey. Boom, now all my feelings is getting fatter. All I want to do is drink booze and eat food. Tell you nice shit like chillax, dude.
Welcome to the Weekend Live Show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Taunton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Wichita, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave your clothes, buddy, and then we're screwing up the
funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. He's not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody. You're not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this party started.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Boys, go baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. deserving a piece. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom. Excuse me. Woo. What's up, turtle people? How's everybody doing out there tonight? Good, good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aidan Kearney. If you're new here, if you're not new here, you probably know that already, but figured I'd introduce myself anyway. You can call me a variety of nicknames that I collect, including and or up to and including Uncle Turtleboy. It's an old school turtle rider name for me. I prefer Doctor, if I'm being perfectly honest, because, you know, if Judd Welcher gets to be a doctor, then I get to be a doctor too. It's my preferred pronoun. You can call me Daddy is acceptable. Some people called me that recently in public, and I kind of like it, so I will allow it. But I understand it can be weird for some people, so definitely not like mandated. You can call me Journalism Jesus if you'd like. You can call me A. Timothy Kearney. That's my true crime name and my Facebook name. Follow me on there because Clarence Woods Emerson is out of commission. So, you know, follow me on there. I don't care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp. And make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. I think we're up to 100 and what do we have for subs now? I've picked up during the course of this trial like way over 30,000 subs, which is cool. I'll take it. You know, stick around. You might like the content. I was here before Karen Reed. I'll be here after Karen Reed. We're up to 136,458 subs. Not too shabby for a boy from Worcester living the dream. So anyway, we're gonna have a good time tonight. That's what we do here. We do true crime in a fun way, if you will, in an entertaining way that pushes boundaries. And sometimes we fuck around and we get indicted. Like I almost had my bail revoked like less than 2 months ago. Old man Cosgrove wanted to indict me over a goddamn he wanted to indict me over comments I made on my show about Brian Tully that he thought were mean. He thought I couldn't say those things about Brian Tully, even though I wasn't saying I was going to do anything to Brian Tully. I just thought I said what I like hoped happened. That's all I said. That's not like a crime last I saw. But apparently he wanted to make it into one. All right. And yeah, here we are. But anyway, remind me, I could show you guys I'm putting together all the testimony I've in all the footage of, I had a trial this week. I don't know if you guys know that. I haven't really talked about it much on here because there's a much bigger trial going across the street for murder in which innocent woman's life is on the line. Her name is Karen Reed. But I also had a trial across the street in district court for a misdemeanor for something much smaller, but involving an individual who has put me in jail. I know a thing or two about jail. And, you know, I spent 60 days in there over a goddamn lie. And this woman's life goal is to just keep putting me back there over and over again because, you know, I didn't want to be with her. So yes, free Frankie. Yeah, indeed. Free Frankie. I mean, that tape helped me. The Frankie tape helped me there, Lauren. That definitely helped me with that. The judge heard it. I think as soon as Judge Palmer heard that tape, you know, he was sold. There was nothing he could do about it. And I could listen to Grant's reaction to like losing to me a million times a week. Did you guys see this? See if I can find it. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Watch this. Hold on. Just watch Grant.
Aidan Kearney, after a bench trial, you have been found not guilty as to one charge of violate abuse prevention order. Such charge will automatically be sealed by the Office of Commissioner of Probation and the clerk's office unless you notify both.
Oh, one more time. One more time. One more time. One more time.
Aidan Kearney, after a bench trial, you have been found not guilty as to one charge of violate abuse prevention order. Such charge will automatically be sealed by the Office of Commissioner of Probation.
Suck it, Grant. Suck it.
Unless you notify both offices in writing within 10 days that you do not want the charge sealed using the request not to seal court record. The request not to seal form must be sent to the Office of the Commissioner by mail or email to the addresses provided on the form. If you want copies of any documents associated with these charges, you must request them immediately before the charges are sealed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you,
towels
Your Honor.
around the world.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Court session today.
Wow. That is not what I saw coming. I thought the argument was made. I thought it was clear he violated the order. I thought it was clear he stayed around. Oh, goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Goodness, an unexpected not guilty verdict after an extended 2-day trial for Aidan Turtleboy Kearney. Very surprising. I think a lot of people heard that evidence there, ladies and gentlemen. I think a lot of people really focused in on the evidence.
Pictures?
And I think a lot of people were utterly baffled how Aidan Kearney remained in the area and yet somehow did not receive a guilty verdict on the judge trial. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, a very well-presented case by Special Prosecutor Robert Cosgrove. A very interesting verdict. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Not at all, especially in light of the present.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good. It's too good. Yeah. And during, it's like, this was there's the fake victim in court. The judge asked the camera to be taken off of her, but this was like a still shot. She just looked so disgusting and raggedy. She was in there for the verdict too. I didn't get to see her face when the not guilty verdict was delivered. I wish I did. I just really she's sick. There's no way around it. She's just sick. And I think she considers these like dates because we didn't have any real dates. Like there was no meals of food at all. So I think that restraining order she had on me was like the bind that kept us together. Like I think, oh, it still smells like him. Oh yeah, that whole thing going on. And like, cause why else would she come to this shit? Like, why would they pursue this? This is such a stupid charge, there it is, the testimony of shame. So wait till you hear her old testimony. Some people are saying she looks pregnant now. Maybe there's another fake baby on the way. I don't know. Everybody's asking if she's pregnant. I mean, she's more than capable of it, but maybe that's what she wants me to think. Oh, I'll have baby Clay with someone else. See, you're missing out. This could be your fake baby. I'm good. Everyone says she looks pregnant though. I don't know, but Clay has a lot of siblings. There's like a whole bunch there. They were woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning when I was there that night, and she threatened to drive them off the road on the way to my house to have a fake abortion in my real driveway. That was scary. But anyway, I'll have I got all the audio of that. I'm putting it all together, the video of that. It's going to be good. Anyway, I also want to thank DJ from Calling All Beings, who held a fundraiser for me tonight that I couldn't attend. It's online. Unfortunately, so tomorrow's Father's Day. My son's sleeping here tonight. And we went out for dinner. And by the time I got back, it just wasn't enough time. But so thank you to DJ and all the folks over there who joined his fundraiser tonight. Really appreciate that because Karen's going to be free, hopefully in a couple days. And then I got a whole bunch of felony charges still. I beat one, and I still got a whole bunch of other ones. I'd like to beat too. But yeah, and keep me updated on the score of the hockey game, please. I know that's going on. Go Oilers for sure. But also I'd like to thank my guy. After I won in court, after I was found not guilty, I come outside and my guy BLT is there, and he's got for me. I got my plaque finally. I got my 100,000 subscriber plaque from YouTube. 100,000. So presented to Turtleboy Live for passing 100,000 subscribers. So thank you to YouTube for hooking it up, and to BLT123. Not BLT123, just BLT for making it happen, my dude. And really appreciate that. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Also, thank you to Jessica Machado, as I tweeted out yesterday or a couple days ago. It was yesterday, actually. So I got to, there's only 10 spots in the courtroom, and it really pisses me off, this whole system there that they enacted this year. I liked it last year when it was like you had to get your seat there early. I like that way more. Because I got in every day under that system, but under this new bullshit system, there's a lottery. So all these other media outlets that never show up, like Inside Edition and Law and Crime and all this stuff, they just started. I was in Men's Journal too. There's a story on me in Men's Journal about my beating of the fake victim in court. So that was cool too. But what was I saying? I was just saying something. Oh, Jess Machado. So I got into court, and there's only 10 media spots, and all these bullshit fake media outlets that never show up ever. They didn't show up all week, even though they won. When you win for the week, it's your seat for the week, even if you don't show up the first 4 days. So they don't show up all week, and then they show up Friday. That includes the Boston Globe, who has, this story's going on in their backyard. They have no coverage of it whatsoever. The only time they ever write a story on it is to make supporters of Kearney, out to be like, we're a mob that's picking on the O'Keefe family, blah, 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 The O'Keefe family is fucking bad. They're not good people. Those, just because they're had a sibling die or a brother die, what they're doing to Karen Reed is just fucking evil. It really is. So anyway, fuck the Globe. The Globe was there. Who else was there? News Nation. Some fucking little shit from News Nation shows up. I don't even know what News Nation is. It showed up, and they took a seat on the most important day. ABC News, they're there. And one other one. Oh, the AP. Like it just pissed me off seeing them there. Like they get front row seats. Ted Daniels in the other room. He can't get in. Canton TV's in the other room. They can't get in. They're there every day. And Jess Machado was an alternate. And so she got Grant's spot because, of course, Grant doesn't show up. And so I'm down there, and, I'm in the standby. If an alternate doesn't show up, I can get that spot. And so I'm sitting there, and she shows up for the last spot. And so I'm left out, and she just offered me her thing. And I'm like, I can't take this. And I'm like, she insisted that I take it. She's just like, this is, no, you've been here since the beginning. And I'm like, I didn't want to take it, but she insisted I take it. And I am forever grateful for that. She's a good friend. And, it was really cool being in there and just seeing the jury reactions to this, because that's really what you want to know. It's the only thing that everyone else isn't seeing is the jury reactions. And so that's what I want to see. That's the important part, is how is the jury taking this? Just wanted to be there, to witness history. So, and then the rest of the day, we had a pretty good day. I thought it was a beautiful day out. I thought the closing statements went amazing. It was horrible for Spanky. We'll get to that. According to the trolls, it's like the greatest speech ever, except doesn't even address Judd Welch's Blue Man Group presentation, just completely ignores that, but whatever. But the defense's closing statement was phenomenal. We're going to review it tonight. And then afterwards, just the scene outside, the vibe outside, it was just so good, man. It was so good. It was so lively. It's back. The buffer zone is done. It was awesome. Did I get picked for next week? Yes, I did. So I made the list for next week. Next week's list includes, let me see if we have next week's list. Next week's list includes the public and okay. Yeah. Mass Live, who has lost every week as well. They finally got a seat in the courtroom. Good for them. South End News. So that's Sue O'Connell. So she'll get in. and NBC 10. That's also Sue O'Connell. I don't know why she gets to go twice, but whatever. So she's got double the chances of everyone else. News Nation won again. WHDH, so that's Channel 7 News. Boston Magazine, so that's Gretchen, even though she doesn't work for them. Me, I won. Andrea Galvin from Canton TV won. The Associated Press won. And WJAR TV in Rhode Island won. Jessica Machado did not win, and that's wrong. And so hopefully like News Nation or some of these other assholes don't show up. The alternate list in order is WBZ, which is Christina Rex. So she's the first alternate. Then John DePietro. Ugh. And then the Herald. The Herald never comes. But Ted Daniel, again, not on there. And he's been, I think he won the lottery once. It's fucking bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit that these real journalists didn't get in. I mean, John DePietro is a literal cartoon character. He's not even attempting to be remotely impartial or anything like that. Like he's just advertises himself as a hack for those assholes. So, you know, if he's out, but just understand that if John DePietro is watching, your corner's not it's my corner now, John. Wherever you go is my corner. Like, let's be clear about it. I'll go wherever, wherever you go, I'm going. And that's I'm taking it over. I am an imperialist up in this motherfucker, right? You are my colonist. You are my subject. I will imperialize you wherever I go. If you think there is a plot of land that is yours, it's actually mine. So don't get too comfortable there. Just understand that. All right. So that's that. I don't care about your broadcast. I don't care about FCC rules, right? That means nothing to me. I don't do FCC and TCC, Turtle Communications, whatever. That's me. All right. So I'll be there every day. And just understand that, John. I don't know if he's going to get in, if there'll be more than 2 spots. Well, actually, there will, because 2 of them, South End News and NBC 10, are taken up by Sue. So that's 1 less. And then there's News Nation. Will they come? I don't know. And the Associated Press. I mean, they come sometimes. I don't know. We'll see. But Jessica's got to get in there. It's such fucking bullshit. Either way, we should be able to stand. I mean, we're just going to be in there for the verdict, right? We're just going to be in there for the verdict. And that's really what we don't need seats for that. And yeah, can we talk about that for a minute? So this new form that they have here is they added the OUI manslaughter to it, and that's an interesting thing. So they added that because of a few reasons. This guy on Twitter, Kentucky Maverick, is that his name? He's a lawyer from Kentucky. He had a good way of putting this. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, yeah, okay. He had a good tweet on this, and I agree with him completely when I saw it. Jesus. First of all, just look at the silence. Look at this. We're back, baby. Let's look at this. Look at all the people out there. Get your ass to Dedham, folks. Look at all these freaking people, dude. Look at them all. Everyone across the street there. And it's just silence. Everybody puts their hands up like freaking the Hunger Games. Everybody does this thing. Look at this shit. There's her lawyers. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Oh my God. It's like a feeding frenzy. That's wild footage, man. That's Jess's footage. So that's amazing. Oh yeah. And Morrissey got heckled. You guys see this? Look at this. He got heckled at another parade, as he should. Everywhere he goes, he should get heckled.
Free Karen Reed! Free Karen Reed!
Look at this fat fuck. Look at him. He's hiding back there. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Who are all these hacks? There he is. There he is. Look at this fat fuck.
Free Karen Reed! 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 Free Karen Reed!
Wherever he goes, he should be treated like that. When he goes out in public, when he goes out to dinner, or first of many dinners, that's what he should live with for the rest of his life. Is that just people yelling shit, free Karen Reed at him, that fat fuck. But anyway, all right. So the form, back to the form. Oh yeah, I got lost on the tangent here. Going on this guy's Twitter. He had some tweet that I liked explaining it all. I should have retweeted it so it's easier to find. If I can't find it after a minute. Oh yeah, this one. Okay. It says, why did the defense request the lesser included OUI offense? The defense likely believed that the video clips presented at trial increased the likelihood of a hung jury or of a conviction on a lesser charge for count 2. So the defense likely believed the video clips presented at trial increased the likelihood of a hung jury or a conviction on a lesser charge for count 2. I would call that like a compromise charge. Like, I think that's what they tried to do because of Peggy O'Keefe and her fucking bullshit and her fake crying, because that's what it is. It's fake. Her fake crying tears there, which should never be allowed. It's an abomination that is allowed to happen. That she's allowed to sit there and cry in front of the jury like that. It's a fucking joke. All right. And that she's allowed to get up there and do that. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. But because of that, I think that the jury at the last trial was like, well, we have to throw him a bone. It's the victim's family. We have to do something. We have to make her feel like, oh yeah, for John, we have to do it for John. Like, that's as if that's justice. And they're like, well, she obviously didn't murder him. So not guilty on that one, right? We'll just call it manslaughter. It's an accident, right? That's what manslaughter is. It's like an accident. You didn't mean to kill someone. Yeah, we'll just call it that. Let's do that. And eventually 9 of them came around, or 8, or whatever stories you've heard out of there. A bunch of them came around and said that, yeah, Michael Chestnut's wife was not allowed to cry in Beverly Cannoni's courtroom. She didn't allow her to do it. But Peggy O'Keefe sure as hell is. It's all he wants. But anyway, so this goes on. I think that because they're more likely to want to throw the O'Keefe family a bone, you might as well put something on there. I think this is their thinking. Let's put something on there that they can throw the O'Keefe family a bone and convict Karen Reed of, if they're inclined to convict Karen Reed of something, put something on there that's not going to carry a heavy sentence. And that would be OUI. I think that's what they did here. The defense likely believed the video clips presented at trial increased the likelihood of a hung jury or on a lesser charge for count 2, including operating under the influence charge gave jurors an alternative option if they were inclined to convict on a less severe charge due to her drinking. Karen likely agreed to the strategy. I like the way this is phrased, preferring the consequences of an OUI conviction over the risk of facing another trial. While this approach might increase the chances of a guilty verdict, it also provided an additional path to closure. That's a good way to phrase it. Honestly, I don't think she wants to put herself or her family through another trial. Hopefully the jury will acquit on all the charges in light of the police misconduct, her observed appearance and behavior at the time, and the Commonwealth's failure to provide evidence regarding when she stopped drinking before the blood test. I believe her main objective is to be cleared of John's death, which I feel is very likely. If not for the video clips, how much is she kicking herself over those? I don't think the defense would have requested a standalone OUI charge. I think that makes sense. I think that, I mean, that the rationale, like, okay, so put yourself in her shoes. What would you rather do if you were her? I mean, serious question. Would you rather, if your two choices were another mistrial or a DUI conviction, what would you pick? And just DUI conviction. Not like, and you're acquitted on everything else. Manslaughter, murder, everything. If you were her and I'm going to put that in the poll. I'm going to do a poll on that right now. I'm going to make a poll. All right, I just put the poll up. If you were Karen Reed, which would you rather, a mistrial or an OUI conviction? I'm very interested in the results of this poll. Let's see what people say. All right, we have 760 votes in. 85% are saying OUI conviction. So there you go. We're at 1,300 votes, 83%. So that's a pretty good sample size at this point. And I think that's why people are doing it. Like if I think that's because think about it. Like, dude, if there's another mistrial, Morrissey's going to go again. Like, he's not going to stop. I think we're kidding ourselves if you don't think that he's going to do that, right? If she's got no priors, right? No history of violence, nothing like that. And in Massachusetts, judges cannot take into account acquittals when they sentence people who are convicted of crimes. And you can't have a third option because that's the way she's looking at this, right? That's the way she's looking at this. She's like, if the jury feels inclined to punish me for something, I don't want something on the menu that's going to come with a minimum 8-year sentence, right? I don't want that. I'd rather have OUI on it. Now, OUI comes with a maximum 2.5-year sentence, but nobody ever gets, and everybody's like, Bev will give her the max. That's appealable. That is, and you can bet Marty Weinberg is just waiting in the wings for that. If she's convicted of an OUI and acquitted of everything else, and Auntie Bev decides I'm going to give her 2.5 years, that's appealable real quick. That is first of all, it likely wouldn't even come with, like, she would not be remanded immediately. All the other charges, she would be remanded immediately and go to South Bay. Did you guys know that on Friday, the paddy wagon was sent from South Bay Correctional Institute to the Norfolk Superior Courthouse? I was waiting outside, and it'll be there on Monday because they have to, just in case, right? But if she's acquitted on everything and she just gets the OUI, she's not going to be remanded. Like, that's going to be one of those things like come back in a month and for sentencing, whatever that is. Do you understand how horrible Beverly Cannoni would look if she sentenced her to a day in jail for an OUI? People get OUI convictions all the time. And yeah, it makes me sick to my stomach too. The fact that car, that I saw it out there, it was there. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting, right? It's absolutely disgusting. Not that they anticipate it, but they have to be there just in case, right? The jury is deliberating. At any moment, they could come back and they could convict her of murder. They could if they want to. I'm not saying they're going to, but it's one of the possibilities. It's one of the things on the menu, right? So anyway, if you were in Karen Reed's position and this is your life, like your dad's getting close to 80 years old, every day they've been getting up and driving from Dighton to Dedham, you know, what would you rather do? I mean, she can't get a job, she can't drive, she can't do anything. Her life sucks. These idiots act like her life is like all glamorous and shit. Bro, she lives with her parents. She had to sell her house to pay her bills. Okay? She's living off of the charity of others. That's Karen Reed's life right now. This is no way to live. This has been going on for 3.5 years now. It has to end. And if you were Karen Reed, would you be opposed to it ending with an acquittal on all of the charges involved in the death of John O'Keefe? You are officially cleared of anything involving the death of Officer John O'Keefe. You will never have to face those charges again. It's done. It's over. You've been acquitted. And in turn, you take a conviction for an OUI. What would you do? You know? Yeah, you are gambling there because you are putting your fate in Beverly Cannoni's hands. If she wants to, she can sentence you to 2.5 years in jail, and that would fucking suck. I did 60 days. That sucked. If she wants to. But she ain't going to do that, bro. It would look so bad. So bad. Not that she cares that much, but it's also appealable. It's also appealable. And honestly, what's worse, that or going through another trial? And then what? And then what? Because guess what? I don't think this time around, I don't think Jackson or definitely Alessi. Alessi's not coming back for another one. Alessi was doing this pro bono. Like these people have they have law firms and shit. They have other clients. They have to pay the bills, right? They're not making any money off of this trial at all. Nothing. Like they're not charging her by the nothing. So, and I understand, yeah, she doesn't give a fuck how it looks. I get it. But like, I don't know. After a while, I think that, you know, an OUI conviction. I mean, it's a gamble. This is a gamble. She chose to put this on there. And I get it. She doesn't care. Beverly Cannoni doesn't care how that looks. But at the end of the day, I don't even think she's allowed to. I don't think, like, that's appealable. It's appealable. And how tired is she from this shit? You know? How tired is she? Like, she's going to lose her lawyers. Like, they're not going to come back for another. This ain't going to happen again. I'm telling you. Then what? You know, then what? This is no way, dude. This is like a full-time job, what they're doing. They live in a fucking hotel for 3 months and shit. They don't have time for other cases. So anyway, and like, you know, Yannetti and Jackson both have like young children. Like, and I understand Alan Jackson like lives to work. But you know, he has a family and they're across the country. I don't know. I just think, whatever. And honestly, with the OUI, yeah, I understand the blood sample stuff, but the problem is the confession. That's like the one thing she confessed to on TV is she said that she was too buzzed to drive on the highway. Like that's it. I mean, you're fucked when it comes to OUI. I never think she cared about an OUI, but if I was her, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably make the same decision because it's just, you know, gotta do it. Gotta do it. Yeah, she said she shouldn't have been driving. You know, they have no BAC. You're right. But again, this is a jury that we're talking. The only reason they would check that box off is because they would feel the need to throw somebody, like she has to be punished for something, you know? I don't know. It would be a compromise. It would be a compromise verdict. Okay. Yeah. We all agree the interviews were a huge mistake. Dumb. Lesson learned. We'll see. So let's talk about the jury real quick, shall we? All right, I got to do my quick jury review. And by the way, if anybody wants their messages read on the show tonight, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat. You can pay whatever you want, say what you want. I read the message out loud. That's it. Okay. Or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and we can do it that way. So let me show you my review of the jurors. Let's see what we got here. Oh, did you guys see Stamos? This was.
Thank you, guys. Please so cool. I'm addicted to this trial. I invited Karen Reed, but she doesn't see it. This is couldn't be more grateful. This July will be my 40th.
He invited Karen Reed, but she couldn't make it. So he's apparently a Karen Reed supporter. So is Bill Nye, who I don't really care for, but I'll take it. He apparently bought one of my shirts. Where'd it go? Oh, that went. Oh, where'd the Bill Nye one go? Was this it? Oh, it's deleted. Why did it get deleted? It's been deleted. Was it a fake? What's going on? The Karen Reed is innocent account posted, I thought. Oh. That's weird. Was it like a fake? I don't know. Oh, this is the Only in Boston Twitter account? Okay. That's the guy that runs that? All right. That's cool. Anyway, I'm getting a DM probably explaining what happened to that. Give me one sec. Or not. Yeah, okay. Here he is. He's over on Facebook. Let me share it. Hold on. Oh, is that not Bill Nye? Is that just some guy who looks like Bill Nye? Oh, is that why it was taken down? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, good. Because I don't really like Bill Nye. So I'm kind of glad he's not. That guy looks a lot like Bill Nye. I don't know. I get tagged and shit. It's just kind of funny. Yeah, yeah. Also, why would he be taking a bus? That's a good point. That's a good point. Anyway, yeah. All right. What was I gonna? Oh, back to my juror shit. Let's pick this up. What did Bill Nye do to you? Oh, check what he said about COVID. That's all I got to say about him. He was the biggest douchebag during COVID. I'm still mad about that. I'm still mad about everything that happened during those few years ago. I'm still not over it. I never will be. All right. All right, here we go. All right. So I ranked, you guys know me. I like to rank. I told you I was going to do this. I'm going to rank just in case there's any shenanigans. I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time who I think are the best jurors versus to the worst jurors based solely on my observations of their facial reactions during the trial and their demographics, keeping in mind that, older people and men, I think, were more likely to convict Karen Reed. Just in general, I just think they're more likely to judge her. for what she did and driving drunk and blah, 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 blah. All right. So I ranked them ahead of time, and this was my list. Okay. I like juror number 11 the most. Juror number 11 is I don't know what exactly she is, if she's Brazilian or Portuguese. She's got a little flair to her, right? She seems like a nice lady, younger, probably like 30 years old, sits there, takes notes, has made some facial reactions. I thought for sure they were going to eliminate her. They didn't, luckily. So she's in. Then there's number 10. 10 makes a lot of, sits next to her. She's pregnant, 30 years old. Also makes a lot of facial reactions. I like her. Then 5. 5 is smirky juror. He sits in the back row. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that you'd want. Like he's he looks like a 50-something-year-old scratch ticket guy, can't nighter. I don't know. He just looks like that guy might think Kearney's guilty, like one of those, But he's smart. He thinks he smiles at everything. He really smiles a lot at Alan Jackson. Like he really likes Alan Jackson. So I like him. So I got him then. 13, juror 13 was this guy who had a wooden notepad and he took notes and he seemed really into the ARCA stuff. I liked him. Juror 15 was a older, probably like not older, like 40, late 40s, blonde woman with glasses on, I really noticed her during the closing statements, really taking an interest in Alan Jackson. So she went up the rankings during the closing statements. I liked her. Then there was juror 18, who is a younger woman, probably under the age of 30. There's 3 women who look a lot alike. Jurors 9, 16, and 18. They all look alike. One of them 16 looks like Jen McCabe. But like she's good though. I didn't mind 16. Okay. So I liked her. 18. Juror 2 was a black woman. She probably looks like she's like one of the older people on the jury, I would guess, young 50s. And that could be bad. Just I don't know. It could be bad. So she's there, but it could be good. I don't know. She seemed, I don't know. I just feel like a black woman is less likely to convict. I don't know. I don't know. It could work against Karen too, because they could look at her and be like, well, this woman is only having all this support and all these lawyers because she's white. There could be something like that. I don't know. It could work against her too. I don't know. Then there's juror number 9, who, as I said before, is another younger looking skinny woman. She seems fine to me. I like her. Juror 8 is a African-American man, sits in the back row. He sits in Ronnie's seat actually. And he's, I can't get a read on him at all, but he's probably like a 40-year-old black man. And I just feel like that's a decent demographic for what you want for a not guilty. Then you have number 12. Juror number 12 is, this isn't, I don't know. Mixed feelings about juror 12. She's the oldest one left on the jury for sure. She's probably late 50s, petite, white woman, brunette. And I liked some of the facial reactions she was making during the trial, especially during the closing. I don't think she's dangerous, but she fits a demographic of somebody who could be dangerous. She's probably, of all the remaining jurors, the most dangerous, I think. But I kind of like her. Then there's juror 1, who is the foreman, probably the hardest person to read on the whole jury. He's a black man, and not like a black man, like dreadlocks, wears a chain and shit. Wore a hoodie on the last day, even though it's fucking like 70-some degrees, 80 degrees, whatever. Doesn't give a fuck. Like just sits there and doesn't take any notes. The entire trial, just doesn't take notes, but doesn't fall asleep either. Listens to everything. was alert the entire time, never once nodded off, and just sits there. Like, it's fucking bizarre. He doesn't write down shit. I don't know. I don't see him as dangerous at all. Like, I don't see him as at all dangerous towards voting guilty. I don't see why he would. I look at this guy. I'm like, why the fuck would this guy vote guilty? I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything that's going on in his head. Nothing about him. But nothing about him screams guilty, like, at all. Like, at all. Like, this guy would be judgmental of Karen Reed. He looks chill. That would be the one word I would be used to describe this guy. He looks chill. Like, he just doesn't give a fuck. I don't know. I kind of like him. And he's the jury. Like, he's the foreman. Like, he's not like the last foreman. Last foreman was like, you know, a physician's assistant, thinks he's wicked smart. Like, one of those guys, prim and proper. This guy's not. And I don't think he wanted the job either. Like, when he took the job, she had to be like, you're the foreman, right? He's like, huh? He didn't see that one coming. And but he's just in the seat. She always picks the one seat. He's the one seat because he's the first juror that was chosen. He's the only one I saw being picked. He was there on the first day of jurors being picked. He's the only one I saw. He was the one. They picked one on the first day. It was him. So he's the foreman. All right. Juror 16 is, again, one of the smaller white women. Kind of looks like Jennifer McCabe. I should probably have her ranked higher. I think she's a safe one. Juror 14 is an interesting one. This is by far the youngest person on the jury. There's no doubt about it. Juror 14 looks like he can't be a day older than like 22 years old. He is very nervous looking. He sits right in the middle of the front row, kind of looks around a lot. He looks like somebody who would hang out, and this is not a bad thing necessarily. I'm saying he looks like somebody who would be friends with Colin Albert. Okay. Like, if that's how I would describe him. Like, he's looks like he likes to party. He looks like I don't know. He's not a bad looking kid. I guess it's the way he's just, if you saw him, you'd probably know it. He looks like a frat bro. And he's very young. And I can't imagine somebody like him. And don't be fooled by the Colin Albert thing. I'm not saying that as like a bad thing. It's like, I just don't know about him. It's just crazy having your life in this kid's hands. But at the same time, I just can't. I look at him and I'm like, that kid's not going to convict Karen Reed of murder. No fucking way. And he reminds me of a Ronnie in that he could be persuaded. He just looks to me like that. Like, he's not going to be a leader in there at all. Like, that's what he looks like to me. He's not going to be a leader. I think about who's going to be a leader on this jury, and it's not going to be him. Juror 17 was the note taker. This guy took 5 notebooks worth of notes. He's definitely the oldest person on the jury, which I didn't like. The last jury, there was a guy that kind of sat in his seat. Who was turned out to be one. I thought he was solid. He had a PhD and he was an engineer. And as it turns out, he was according to Ronnie, one of the leaders of the Karen Reed is guilty movement, and just wouldn't budge on that. So just his demographic scares me. I don't like that. Okay. Then this juror number 4. Juror number 4 was previously juror number 9. But they moved his seat. He's under the age of 30, probably. He's got I don't know. He was like kind of talking to the girl next to him a lot, the pregnant girl. I just look at this kid. He just seemed goofy. I don't know how to describe him. I just can't imagine him voting to convict someone. He doesn't look like a strong-willed person at all. He does not scream that to me. And I just can't imagine him being a leader in there. I think the women are going to be leaders in this. There are 7 female panelists on there. And I think they're going to be outspoken leaders. Okay. And then there's juror number 7, who is Jess Machado referred to him as Suns Out, Guns Out. He was, I didn't like him. I didn't dislike him. There's nothing. I looked at the guy. I didn't like him. Just didn't like him. He's a middle-aged white guy. I don't like him. And I'm a middle-aged white guy myself. I just didn't like him. I don't like that's not the primary demographic of people that's outside the courthouse right now. You know what I mean? I just didn't like him if I had to pick. And then there was juror number 3. Juror number 3 was, why were they so low? Oh, juror number 3, he looks like a cartoon character, kind of. Like, it just, I don't know. I can't get a read on juror number 3. He's a middle-aged white man. I don't know. It's kind of weird looking. I don't know. He is what he is. Juror number 6, I could be completely misreading her. She had heavy resting bitch face. She just looked, she's the only one who looked miserable during Alan Jackson's closing. And so I didn't like her. I just didn't like her. Well, the ones that ended up getting chosen for the jury, and so were 11, 10, 5, 15, 18, 9, 12, 1, 16, 14, 4, and 3. So if you're doing the math, that's pretty good statistically. Like my picks, the following made it on. These are the rankings. My number 1, 2, and 3 ranked jurors all made it on. And then the ones that didn't make it on, 14, 16, and 18. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Again, I could be totally reading these people wrong. But I like it, man. I looked at when they got rid of the 6 alternates and I saw the new jury for the first time, the jury became significantly younger immediately because juror number 2, the black woman, and juror number 17, the notebook guy, are probably the 2 oldest jurors, and they were immediately eliminated, right? They did conspicuously get rid of the 2 black jurors, but again, neither of them really stood out to me as like making any sort of, made me feel that safe. You know, that's why I both had them kind of in the middle there. They didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't feel that excited about them. I looked at them now, but I look at it now. So there's 7 female jurors. 7 female jurors. And it's just, I'll be thinking about it all weekend. These 7 jurors, right? Female, young female, 30 or under. Young female, 30 or under and pregnant, right? Young female. Juror 18 is a young female. Who else here? 13 was my top ranked juror who was dismissed, but he didn't make it on. But who's 15? Fuck's 15. Oh, this is a middle-aged female. I like her. So one young, how many young women are on this jury? 30 or years younger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 women on the jury. 5 of the 12 jurors are women 30 or younger. I feel comfortable saying that. 5 of the 12 jurors are women aged 30 or younger. Okay. And that leaves jurors 4 and 14 are probably both under the age of 25, I would guess. They're the 2 youngest ones, I would guess. Those are probably your 2 youngest jurors, the males, right? So that's 7 now. 7 30 years or younger. All right. The older ones are jurors, juror 3, juror 12, and juror 15, who I like. Juror 15 just makes me feel comfortable. She's a blonde woman, late 40s with glasses on. She looks like the kind of person that would be outside taking a picture with me. Like, that's the kind of woman she looks like. Something about her feels inviting and makes me feel comfortable. Okay, so I like her a lot. So you do the math, guys, here. This is a good jury. And then there's the foreman, who's just the chillest black dude you've ever seen. And I can't get a read on this mofo, but I like him, kind of, you know? Anyway, how do I function looking at the list? It's just in my head. I see the numbers, and I'm like, I just immediately put a face to the numbers. I'm like a numbers kind of guy. But anyway, Smirky made it on. It is what it is. Okay. All right. So anyway, let me before we get into tonight's YouTube presentation, let me read some turtle chats for you guys now that we talked about the jurors. I'm gonna bang through these as quickly as possible. Holy shit. Remember, you got to keep them somewhat short, no paragraphs. Because Marie sent $50 and she sent a goddamn fucking paragraph. I'm just going to show you what I mean by what not to do with a turtle chat. Let me share this for you. Like you can't do this. You can't do this. I don't know what to say. I can't read this whole fucking thing. I'll sum it up for you. So this turtle chat says, I have serious concerns about the selection and potential impartiality of the selected jury foreman. Could he be a plant? Given who the McAlberts are, I highly doubt these small-minded, soulless, and more likely bigoted individuals would choose to be connected to somehow a person of color. Okay, so let me just stop you right there. Okay? No, he's not a plant. How the fuck could they guarantee you get on? Karen Reed's team picked him. You understand that? They both have to pick him. He can't be a plant, guys. Stop it. Stop it. I can't even read the rest of this centigraph. So I can't, I'm not going to read any more of that. I'm not reading any more of that. I can't. Again, you have to keep your turtle chats at a respectful level. Okay, next up, we have Bill Nye sends $10. He says, Shannon Welcher is a moron. Blue paint doesn't prove shit. Free Karen Reed. Not science related by Krusty, fake victim, and Hank Suck too. Okay, thank you. Lisa Ann sends $25, says, I had the pleasure of meeting you on the stoop of the Registry of Deeds yesterday and say thank you, shake your hand, and get a pic, but I actually got a little tongue-tied at seeing you in the flesh. Jeez. And forgot to say congratulations on your own not guilty verdict. What a relief to put that behind you and soon the bullshit with this intimidation as well. His closing was fire, and Monday afternoon, Karen will hear those words, not guilty. I feel very, very confident in that Karen Reed is going to be acquitted on Monday. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. It's going to happen. I like the jury, dude. I really do. It's young women. 5 of the 12 jurors are young women, 30 years or younger. They're not going to convict Karen Reed. The most solid juror in the last trial. One of the 3 that would not be judged was the youngest person on the jury, a woman, a nurse, mind you, right? She was the most solid, not guilty voter. And it's going to be the same this time around. It's trust me. I'm nervous. People are nervous about the jury. I get it because we've all been ronified around here, but it is what it is. All right, next one. We got another centigraph here. Again, you got to keep them short. KR sends $50. Definitely not reading this whole thing. Doctor, I have some serious concerns about this is the same one. This is the exact same one from Marie. Except she wrote doctor instead of doctor. Okay. So I'm going to thank you for that one, KR. Laura sends $20 and says, Doctor, hard to believe we're almost there. These last 2.5 years have been a wild ride. We never should have ended up here, but the journey's been incredible nonetheless. From Billy Tibbetts. So again, even this is a little long. I love you guys. You got to keep it a little shorter. From Billy Tibbetts, the Advantage Boys, Kevin because think about it in like terms of a super chat. This could not fit on a screen in a super chat. You couldn't do it. Right. the rolling rally can't. Maybe I need to set up like a character limit or something. Paul's Glazed Donuts, Jill Daniels, give us McDonough. There's crazy moments wrapped up in the crazy. Most importantly, none of this would be possible without you. Well, thank you. Thank you for your relentless work, your unwavering commitment to the truth, and never backing down. Free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy. It's time to fuck pull up, bitch. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And it has been a hell of a ride, and hopefully it's about to end. So great. Brittany sends $10, goes, hi, Turtleboy. How did the jury, especially those who made the final 12, react to each closing? I am nervous about how they viewed those clips. I was specifically watching them during the clips for their reactions. And, you know, I think none of them really reacted much. They don't sound good. You know, whenever you hear them, you're like, you hear Karen yelling like that, and you're like, well, that's not good. Nothing good. Even though it kind of proves that she didn't know they were there. If you actually think about it, it actually proves that she thinks he's alive. But it's just the visceral, like she's screaming and she's swearing. Like it's not, you know, you don't need that. It'd be better if they had never heard Karen Reed's voice before. That would be the best thing if they'd never heard Karen Reed's voice. But they did, and it's too late now. And it is what it is. So thank you. Ultimately, though, I don't think it's one thing. I think that they did. The closing was great by AJ, but one thing it didn't do was contextualize those videos. Like, I think that's one thing they should have done. And as my friend Carrie on Twitter had pointed out, like, actually pick up the taillight, show them the physical taillight, and be like, would you miss this? Could you, if this was lying on your front yard with an inch or two of snow falling and you had a leaf blower out and you were clearing your yard out, would you miss this? Because the state police did. It didn't show up till February 18th. There we go. So thank you. Karen Mimi K sends $25 and says, please let the Cali twins know that I mentioned them to you on Friday. They really wanted to come meet you with me. You and Meredith are very humble and a pleasure to meet. Well, my pleasure too. Thank you very much. And tell the Cali twins I said hello. Thank you. Iris Suzanne sends 10 and goes, congrats on your hearing earlier this week. Happy Father's Day. Let's free our Karen. Yes, thank you. Nicole sends $5, goes, hi, Daddy. I just want to let you know we're so grateful for you and your hard work in this movement. The crowd Friday was amazing to see. You will forever be our Dr. Daddy. Also, who's working on the Daddy calendar? LOL. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Exactly. Tracy from Philadelphia, and I don't know who's working on the Daddy calendar. Maybe I will when this is done. We'll see. Tracy from Philadelphia sends $25, goes, thanks, doctor. Love you. Love you too. Thanks. Ryan sends 10 and goes, Aidan, when time allows, I'd like to hear your theory on what happened when John went inside 34 Fairview when the McAlberts murdered him. I don't really have that much of a theory. See, I never really put much of a theory into it. I mean, my theory is simple. John walked into some part of that house, whether it be the garage or the main entryway or whatever, and a fight broke out somewhere, somehow in that house rather quickly for over whatever reasons. A fight broke out. John was pushed down and he hit his head awkwardly on a stair or some sort of rigid object. Cut his head open, just a 1 in a million angle, and he started convulsing and puking and dying in their house, and they covered it up. That's really it. That's it. Next, Shannon Welcher's Bukaki Distribution sends $5 and goes, just spreading the load. I mean, love, free Karen Reed. All right, I see what you did there. Amanda sends 5 and goes, Hank Brennan makes me cringe. He needs to sit all the way down. I know, he's so creepy, isn't he? He sucks. Claire sends $25, goes, hey, doctor, congrats on your not guilty verdict. Let's get another not guilty for Karen Reed. Love and support from Phoenix, Arizona. Free Karen Reed. Thank you, Claire. Deuce sends $10, goes, thanks for everything you do, doctor. The only thing I wish AJ hit harder was connecting to Wi-Fi at 12:36. She can't get home that quick. That's a good point. Krista sends $10, goes, leaving early tomorrow morning to start our 18-hour drive to Dedham. 18 hours. Where are you coming in from? That's got to be like, that's past Illinois, isn't it? 18 hours if you're coming from the West. And we're talking like Iowa shit or Tennessee, maybe, or I mean, Florida's, I mean, I don't even know how long does it take to drive to Florida. Like, I don't even know if that's 18 hours. Man, it's a journey. So I'll be there. I will be there every day, every minute until the verdict. From Missouri, St. Louis. Wow. I met some turtle riders from Missouri the other day. There were a couple of Mizzoos, some show me turtle riders. It was great to see them. It's amazing. Chicago ain't 18 hours. If you drive fucking, you know, that definitely not 18 hours. Only if you're driving like Karen Reed on her way to 34 Fairview Road. That's about it. Nice and slow. All right. Trisha sends $50, goes, I actually cried tears of joy with your not guilty on Thursday. It was such an emotional week. Free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy, justice for John O'Keefe. Well, thank you. That was I kept a stoic face. I did not even flinch. Because I just didn't want to let the judge know, like, fucking, that was awesome. Thanks, bro. Like, I wanted to keep my emotions in check if I could, but I was very happy right afterwards. It was awesome. Laura, and I couldn't see the people behind me as much as I wanted to look behind me. The fake victim came into the courtroom just for the verdict. She came the entire last day of the trial, even though she was done testifying, and she just sat there. She just sat in the basement or something, tucked away. And then she was brought up for, she was brought up for the verdict. And I really wanted to turn around just to see her face. She brought Aunt Jemima with her this time. So she's run out of friends. Twisted Tragedies couldn't make it. Crazy Julie Ginto couldn't make it. Krusty, obviously. Kim Fair. None of them could make it. And she ran like she had before. So she brought this woman with her who I think might be homeless. She had older black woman with, some sort of Jessica Hyde thing going on in her head. And I was just looking at her and I didn't want to be rude, but I wanted to say, do you have any maple syrup? Now it's not to be insulting. I bet it's really sweet and delicious if you have it, and it probably tastes great with butter. So I didn't want to be rude to her and ask her that, but it's just saying. I just wanted to ask her if she had any maple syrup. I was just one of those first thing that went through my head is what it is. Okay, next. Let's see. Laura sends $10, goes, I sent you a DM on X with a short video of Chris Albert verbally assaulting 2 visitors to CF McCarthy's for allegedly taking a picture of Colin. Please play it for us. He's such a fucktard. I'll try to play it later after I do the actual stuff we're here for. So thank you. Terry sends 25 and goes, hey, Doc, I really appreciate your great work. I joined the website, but can't seem to join the premium stream. I'm old. You joined the website. How do you join the website? So to join Turtle Club, I think that's what he's talking about. You just go, I'll show you real quick, guys, what you do. If you want to join Turtle Club, you just go like this. Now I'm already logged into my account. See how it says, howdy, Aidan Kearney. I'm logged in. But to join Turtle Club, you go right here and then you click on Turtle Club live stream, or you click on sign up. See, I'm already logged in, so I can watch Turtle Club. We watched Paul O'Keefe testify. I was asked if she could be. So I mean, Paul might not have spoken to her.
By me personally, no. Someone had asked me.
Yeah.
2024.
So the audio sucks. So anyway, so that's how to join Turtle Club, you just go to, I'll show you. Just go to sign up. right here on your Turtle Club. And then you could click if you want to join a monthly subscription for $15 a month. That way you get ad free on the website and access to the premium stream. You click on community member and boom, you sign up here. That's it. That's how you get in the sex cult. And the sex cult is dope. You definitely want to be in sex cult. So, and then from there, you just sign into your account and you can view whatever you want. So thank you very much. Next up, Mediocre Chicken Parm sends $20, goes, hey, Aidan, I haven't missed a moment of court, but I don't follow the stuff that happens outside at all. Anyways, I saw TikTok of Attorney Jackson asking the crowd not to clap and cheer at all. He requested they use hand signals. Can you share why? And when will the gag order attorneys end? So I should mention this. So there's like the order for the buffer zone says that we can't be loud and disrupt the court proceedings. So they're not really enforcing shit anymore. They're letting people walk. There's too many goddamn people to enforce that with. So when people come out now, it's just a wall. Everybody does this thing. They just go like this. And so when they come out, it's like a symbol. Like everybody just puts it up there. It's kind of powerful. Everybody comes out and it's really cool. So it kind of works. I like it. I'm not going to lie. I like it. Next up. Let's see. A Wheels sends $5, goes, are you scared? Are you sauced, Turtleboy? You're cracking me up. No, I'm not. I'm perfectly sober. So thank you. Next up, Paint by Numbers and Cosplay sends $10, goes, I want to congratulate you on your court victory. Shout out to Jess Machado. You deserve to be there more than anyone. Thanks for everything you've done. You'll be vindicated soon. How do you feel about the jury that's selected? I think I answered that question. Keep the faith and you'll be free. My pleasure. Roger sends $10, goes, Grant is John DePietro's illegitimate bastard son. They are not turtly enough for the Turtle Club. Agreed. Alessi's Glove sends 15 and goes, is Tully allowed to publicize everything from your confiscated devices once Karen's trial is over? No, he's not. The Turtle sends $10 and goes, I got into it with the anti-Karen Reed Mafia recently. When I threw hard facts at them, they told me, quote, take off the tin hat. Can you imagine this? There's a population of people who praise Hank. It's actually really sad. Free Karen Reed, Turtleboy. Congrats on your play. I mean, it's a sickness. They're just sick people, all of them. 90% of them just don't like me. And that's why they've come to this conclusion. At least that's the way it used to be. Now it's kind of outgrown me, if you will. And now it also includes people who are just cunts, who just don't like the look of Karen and whatever, So that's what it is. Next up, the Trial Channel sends $7, goes, shout out to Jess for obvious reasons. Congrats on your not guilty verdict. And thanks to everyone in this chat who has supported me. Love you all. Thank you, Trial Channel. Judd's X-ray folder sends $5 and goes, any thoughts on the defense hoping for an appeal on simple OUI to expose Bev's court rulings? Not sure. Loses sends $10, goes, UK loves you. The United Kingdom. Nice. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Loza. Wrenchler's Ham Sammy sends $5, goes, Cosgrove is a welfare queen ass bitch. Suck it, motherfucker. Free Turtleboy. Okay, thank you. Lisa sends $10, goes, you are absolutely amazing. UK is supporting you in this corrupt state. I love my fish and chip turtle riders. Thank you. Mom B don't want to give sends $50, goes, you should be proud. This trial is so much bigger than just Karen Reed. I'm not always 100% with you the way that you present things, but I love what you've done. For those of us who don't believe a single voice could ever make a difference against corruption, you've shown it can be done, and to stand up for justice. Well, thank you. That's very thoughtful of you. Tom sends $25, goes, Turtleboy, big win last week. Way to go. Flying up from North Carolina tomorrow. I hope to see you Monday around the courthouse. Free Karen Reed Monday afternoon. Well, thank you very, very much. That's great. Glad to hear. Hotep Jesus sends $100 and says, I was nervous, but the defense rendered every questionable action from the first trial irrelevant in this one. Butt dials, Google searches, shady behavior, even Proctor. None of it matters because there was no collision. Exactly. Ruth sends $10, goes, I've always thought that when Meatball said it's on video, that the video was from across the street, that it was on video. Ford Edge. Oh gosh. Is Laura in the, I'm guessing, is there static? That's usually what Laura comes on to tell me. Is there static? She's there as soon as I hear that. All right. Hopefully it's fixed. Let's see. Let's see what she's saying in the background. Not static, she's saying. Okay, what's the issue then? Don't tease me. Don't tease me. What's the issue? Or is she reminding me of something? Laura is the one who runs like everything for me. Okay. If people have problems with Turtle Club, it says on the website what to do. Thank you. Yes, there are directions right on the website about what to do if you have issues with Turtle Club as well. We have a customer support hotline for that. You can email Laura and she will help you out with that. Thank you. Sarah sends $10 and goes, when Karen's acquitted, can you spill the tea on the texts you got in discovery between Kerry Roberts, Steve Nelson, and anyone else that didn't come out during trial? So I don't know if I'm allowed to, because there's still and by the way, the email is turtlepods@gmail.com. If you have any issue with your Turtle Club subscription, turtlepods@gmail.com, or you can message the Turtleboy page on Facebook. But as far as the messages with Kerry Roberts and Steve Nelson and them, I don't know if I'm allowed to share them because they're still under protective order, but Karen has the same messages I do. She can release whatever we want. And I can't believe these haven't gotten out. Like, these fucking messages are outrageous. Where do you see these? The internet will have a field day with these messages, analyzing them. But like, holy shit, I can't believe she said this. She said this on this day. Oh my God. Proctor said this on this day. We got Proctor messages, Morrissey messages, Bukaki messages, Kerry Robert messages, Jen McCabe messages, everything. I got so many fucking texts that no one's seen. It's crazy. All right, next up. Hampton George sends $5, goes, what's the first thing you'll do? And she's acquitted. Oh, hopefully I'll be in the courtroom and I will go right over the Reed family and give them all a huge hug. That's the first thing I'll do, is just celebrate. And then I'll be I will be the happiest person in the world. And I can't wait to walk out of those courthouse steps to all of our supporters. And then we await Karen's team coming out, and it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And then the revenge starts. And that's not like, I don't want to, offend anyone. I know revenge, Cosgrove doesn't like when I say that word. I say revenge in the sense that, like, we are going to rub it in people's faces that I was right the whole time. Done. Next up, Nathan sends $10 and says, it's insane to me that Hank admitted in closing he doesn't know how the alleged incident happened. That means he can't prove his case and Karen's not guilty. I hope the jurors picked up on that. Also, congrats on beating one of your charges. I hope you beat the others. I know. Thank you. And yes, I agree that it's completely outrageous. We're going to talk about that. Adam sends $5, goes, push-up contest. Who wins? Turtleboy versus Alessi versus Jackson. Oh, that's me. No doubt about it. I've been to prison. Like, all I do in jail, all I could do in jail, there's no weights in county jail. So you just got to do push-ups all the time to stay in shape. I definitely lost some weight in jail, some like muscle, but like I got leaner. That was the thing. I got leaner. So thank you. Jennifer sends 10 and goes, listen, Turtle, my stomach is in knots waiting for your reaction to the not guilty verdict. Thank you, Doc, for your hard work and dedication to fighting this corruption. Happy Father's Day. Well, thank you very much. Sonia sends $10, goes, listen, Turtle, I'm not answering your poll. Karen will 100% be acquitted. I refuse to believe anything else. Love you and Karen both. Thank you, Sonia. Kim sends $5 and goes, if a mistrial happens and Karen's lawyers need to part ways, I'm sure hundreds would be lining up to do it pro bono. That's a good point. Screw Spanky, that fake ass bitch. Lorraine sends $10, goes, hey, Turtleboy, my husband and I watch you together all the time. Can you surprise him with a well-deserved Happy Father's Day shout out. His name is Michael Pierre. You're awesome. Well, thank you very much. And happy Father's Day to Michael Pierre. Denise sends $20, goes, who will continue to keep tabs and investigate once the dust is settled? I'm very impressed by your conviction and integrity. Praying for you and Karen Reed. Thank you, Denise. Mickey sends $25, goes, I've never been so worried for someone during a trial that I watch or follow. This level of corruption is scary. The Commonwealth's expensive, and repeated attempts to pin it on the girls certainly means they could try and reach the jury in the circle of corruption. Karen needs to be freed now. Weekend equals 2 additional free days of hanky ham, giving his crooks more time to pay one juror. I wouldn't worry about that. Jared sends $15, goes, Aidan, you should be so proud of yourself. This case wouldn't be relevant if it wasn't for you. The crowds outside the courthouse are because of you. This movement is because of you. And Karen Reed is going to walk away with a full not guilty or a first offense OUI. You walking up the courthouse steps feeling emotional was definitely a you made it, this is your purpose kind of thing. Free Karen Reed. Well, thank you very much. Very, very kind to you. And, you know, it is, I'm not going to lie. Like when I go out and I see these gigantic crowds out there and I see all these people smiling and cheering and it's just a sea of pink. It is very emotional. Like seeing like, oh my gosh, this is like my, like this is the greatest thing I've ever done. Like I put this whole thing together. I didn't free Karen Reed. I'm not her lawyers are doing that and she's doing that. But I definitely like played a part in building this support movement and the social, it's a social movement. That's what it is, you know, of people who see what's going on and are and feel outraged by this and are flying in from across the country. We got people driving and flying in from all these different states looking to be part of this, looking to be part of history, that want to be there on Monday or on Tuesday or whenever it is, when you hear those 2 words, not guilty, aired inside that courtroom, because it's going to come. A mistrial is a fluke, guys. Like only 5% of trials end in a mistrial. That was rare. It's going to end up with the unanimous something because jurors want to go home. And I've never seen a case before that's more cut and dry for an acquittal. Like somebody put like on TikTok, I think I saw this, like Casey Anthony could get acquitted. And what? Her baby was missing for 30 days and she didn't report it. Karen Reed went looking for John after a couple hours. You know, it couldn't, I don't know. I've never seen a case that's just more obvious of an acquittal than this one. It's like, because people have been acquitted for much less. People who are much shadier and much more likely to be guilty have been acquitted than Karen Reed. I'll tell you that much. All right, next up. Mickey sends, no, did I read that one? I read the one. Okay. A-Rod sends $10, goes, I don't think it's fair to have a jury say, let's give the O'Keefe something. I agree. That's not justice. There's a podcast called Crime Jurors. They did 4 shows with make-believe jurors. They all said, no way is Karen Reed guilty after Arca showing John had no injuries. Exactly. Samantha sends $40, goes, okay, just want to chime in. I work in a bar on the North Shore, just outside Beverly Farms in Hamilton, Mass. And the amount of demographic of women that I hear you talking about and thinking that they'd think Karen Reed is guilty are all actually Karen Reed is innocent is huge. So I'm just saying older women who have less going on and are aware of the case, none of them think she's guilty. And when I'm telling you that we don't have patrons under 50, it's not an exaggeration. I believe you. I mean, I think any demographic, the majority of that demographic believes that Karen Reed is innocent. But in the last jury, the older jurors definitely were more likely to find her guilty. Just saying. Spanky's Tiny Weasel sends $5, goes, hey, Dr. Turtle Daddy, it's my personal belief that you will be president one day. Seems unlikely. And even as a lifelong liberal, I'd vote for you. Well, thank you. But I ask that you please remember the lefties who love you and consider some compassionate policies, and balance. Thank you, Dr. Turtleboy. Love you. Well, I don't think I'm ever going to be president, so you don't have to worry about my policies. I'm never going to be elected to anything because I just have way too much shit. I mean, it's politics. You get brought out there, they find out anything in your past. Like, you don't have to find out with anything for me. Like, bro, look at all these charges he's got. There's the fake victim. Like, oh yeah, he did this with the fake victim. You know, it's like you could find so much shit on me. I'm like the least electable person ever. Okay, so you don't got to worry about that. Let me read some Cash Apps, then we'll finally get to the review. Jesus Christ, it's been long enough. Nice. All right. What am I looking at? Cash App. Okay. Jennifer sends 777 and says Bev is getting her pussy licked by Spanky right now. There's a visual I didn't need. Domenica sends $5 and goes, this means I love you. I know it does, but maybe, I mean, Karen made this symbol coming out of court one time. So I think that's why people are doing it. Nicole sends $5, goes, are you allowed to share the photo from the garage? Not yet. I will though. Holly sends $25, goes, alternate juror reactions when, and I'll share it when the trial's over. When there's a verdict, then I will. Okay. Holly sends $25, goes, alternate juror reactions when eliminated. None. There were no, I would be pissed after putting in that much time and then be like, you don't get to say. Victoria George was pissed. Like she had visible reactions when she was picked. But Dylan sends $5, goes, can you call my wife Bethany retarded? Thanks. Okay, Bethany, you're retarded. That was easy. Chad sends $5, goes, happy birthday, United States Army, 250 years. There you go. All right. Happy birthday, Army. Teresa sends $5, goes, Aidan, I have a similar case in Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't care. So thank you. No offense to you. I mean, it's guys, nothing annoys me more than when you come up to me, like just have some common sense, kind of like when I'm up here, when I go out in public, okay, when I'm outside the courthouse and there's a million, and I'm not trying to brag like I'm king shit, like I'm Mr. fucking awesome and Mr. important, but just kind of use common sense. I go outside and there's like a million people asking to take pictures of me. There's a fucking like line, like I don't say no to anyone. I don't say no to anyone. I will always take pictures of people unless I got to like run inside or some shit. Okay. And it's not being cocky. Okay. Fuck you, Medieval Moon. Fuck you. It's not being cocky. It's just, this is what it's like outside. There's a million fucking people that want me to take pictures with them. And I love doing it. I'm happy to do it. It's fun. I like doing it. It's cool. I get to do the can salute. All right. But what you can't do, and you should just use common sense and have some basic social skills. Do not come up to me when I'm doing this and be like, Turtleboy, you got to listen to my story about corruption. Oh, I'm in corruption too, Turtleboy. You got to expose this and you got to do that. Or don't come up to me and be like, oh, Turtleboy, I wrote you 3 emails. Did you get them? Oh, yep. I got them. I get every email. If I didn't get back to you, that was a sign you should have taken. That was a hint. It's called a hint. If I didn't get back to you, it meant I had no interest in you. It means I get fucking hundreds, if not thousands of story ideas a week pitched to me. I can't read them all. I can't look into them all. It's called a screening process. A screening process. I just go through them. And just because you come up to me in person and ask doesn't mean it's going to be any different. You're actually going to annoy me more then. You're going to be the guy that really can't take a hint. Like, really can't take a hint. Like, I will get to you when I can get to you. I'm one fucking person doing this. There's no team here. Like, there's no I don't have any other writers. Nobody. Just me. I can't get back to everyone. And it's just like when you see a million people trying to do pictures and stuff, it's like, it's rude to the other people because they all want to take pictures and just have a good time. And you're coming up to me and being like, I demand 5 minutes of your time for a fucking conversation about this. Okay. Thanks. Sorry, Medieval Mom. You were being facetious. I apologize. But you guys get the point. Okay. So thank you for that. All right. Next up. So no, I cannot look into your story and rally. Okay. Paul sends $10 and goes, OUIL conviction would be successfully appealed. I think so too. Ralph sends $50 and goes, free Karen Reed. Thank you. And obviously Karen Reed doesn't want to go to jail or anything like that, but like going to jail in OUI is a fucking joke. I mean, are you kidding me? First of all, you go to county, you wouldn't even go to prison, and she'd be in PC. It would suck. Jail sucks for everyone. But she would be like me in jail. Like, you would get so much love every day from people, like people messaging you, like whatever. Like, that was if it was a fucking OUI. She's not going to jail for anything at all. And I highly doubt she will spend a single day in jail if she's convicted of an OUI. Jane sends $20, goes, I'm glad you're vindicated and now free. Free Karen Reed. Thank you, Jane. Sean sends $50 and goes, listen, Turtle, thank you for everything. And thank you, Sean. So you saw Sean the other day. Sean's a Cantonite, speaks frequently at the Board of Selectmen meetings. Great guy. Thank you. Cindy sends $5 and goes, free Karen Reed and great work, Turtleboy. Thank you, Cindy. And this was the other day. Judy Proctor, she sent this yesterday night and just want to call her out for this. She sent $500 on the Cash App and she said, you're a good man and a justice warrior. Well, thank you very much, Judy. And you have redeemed the name Proctor. So thank you, Judy Proctor, for sending that. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So let's do this. Let's watch some of we'll start with Alan Jackson's closing statements. And if anyone else wants their message read, I've got more turtle chats I haven't read. We'll read those later on, but I want to get started with this program.
I've given each lawyer an hour.
There was no collision. There was no collision. There was no collision. I want to take a minute to start off with thanking you. I want to thank you for your attention. I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for your diligence. This is not an easy undertaking. Most of all, I want to thank you for your courage, because courage is what this moment demands. Not just to listen, but to stare directly at injustice and say, not here, not now, not on our watch. That's what you're being asked to do. Stare down injustice. I want to start with a simple truth. You folks, not us, nobody else in the courtroom, you folks are the last line of defense. The last line of defense between an innocent woman and a system that has tried to break her, that falsely accused her, that tried mightily to bury the truth. This case was corrupted from the start. It was corrupted by biases, conflicts, and personal loyalties that you heard about. And most fatally, it was corrupted by a lead investigator whose misconduct infected every single part of this case from the top to the bottom. In our opening comments to you a few weeks ago, we told you what to watch for. We warned you what to watch for. We begged you what to watch for. Watch for the physical evidence. Pay attention to the medical facts. Pay attention to the science and the physics. But also pay attention to the integrity, the very essence, the integrity of the investigation. But you also saw something during the course of the trial that none of us might have expected, something that should sadden us, something that maybe would anger us. On full display, you saw the lengths to which some police officers will go to protect their own at the expense of the rest of us, at the expense of Karen Reed, an innocent woman. Before we examine the evidence in the case, which we will do, we need to understand the very foundation of the entire system of justice in which we operate. It's the bedrock on which this entire system is built. Reasonable doubt. This isn't just a technicality, and it's not a slogan. It's a constitutional shield that protects the innocent and prevents the government from punishing without proof. The Commonwealth has the high burden to prove every single element of every single charge beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. As I said, those powerful words are not just some legal jargon. They're your mandate, they're your obligation, they're your community's protection against injustice. In our system of justice, Karen Read sits here today, presumed innocent, cloaked in the presumption of innocence. That presumption is not fragile. It doesn't just disappear because there's a charge or a badge or a theory. That presumption stands firm unless and until the Commonwealth clears that high bar, the highest bar the law provides, proof beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. That means at the end of this case, at the end of the trial, you think about one or more of the charges, you think, you know what, maybe that's true.
Maybe.
It might be true. Then you vote not guilty. If you think it's possibly true or probably true, your vote must be not guilty. If someone among you thinks it's likely true or even very likely to be true, your vote is not guilty.
All right, stop right there. They listened to us, guys. I did a show a couple weeks ago on this where I literally showed two Jose Baez closing statements and this whole thing about, like, if you think something's likely true, it's not guilty. None of this was done in the first trial. They did not do this in the first one. They did not explain this. And I had a tweet about this the other day, or yesterday. I'll repeat this again. I got a message from Karen Read at 5:24 a.m. And this is what she said. Allen's closing will be 10 times better than last year. We listened very intently to what people thought should be fixed. All right. We listened very intently to what people thought should be fixed. Don't sell yourself short. Like they read shit. Every comment you have, they read everything. They think about everything. They take in every possibility, right? They factor that in. And like they crowdsource, it's smart. Why wouldn't you? And this was smart. They clearly listened to us. This was immediately, as soon as I heard this, I'm like, oh, they learned their lesson.
Those standards, maybe, might be, possibly, probably, likely, very likely, none of those meets the extraordinary burden of beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. A moral certainty means a level of confidence so strong, so
hit that like button,
unshakable, that you would go home, look your loved ones in the eye and say, I am certain, not probably, not likely. I'm morally certain, and my certainty remains unshakable. Yep. The law defines moral certainty as the highest level of certainty known in all human affairs.
Like, would Ronnie go home when Ronnie was admittedly a guy who temporarily switched over to guilty? Does Ronnie strike you like the kind of guy that could go home that night and be like, I am fucking positive that Karen Read did this beyond a reasonable doubt. I am so fucking positive Karen Read. I would bet my life on Karen Read hitting John O'Keefe with her car. No, he wouldn't. And yet at one point he was willing to convict her. And that needs to be explained to these people that that's not how any of this works. That's not how it works. They apparently didn't understand that last time. So I'm glad that it's one of the first things he does here is like, this is not how it works. You have to be able to go home at night and tell your family that I am certain that woman hit John O'Keefe with their car. That's what you have to be willing to do to vote guilty on any of these charges. Okay? So if you really feel that way, then I guess you can. And I'll take my chances that none of you actually feel that way.
Think about that. You must be that certain about the entirety, not part of, the entirety of the Commonwealth's case. As we discuss this case, you'll see that the Commonwealth comes nowhere close to reaching that extreme burden of proof. Ladies and gentlemen, on January 28th, 2022, it was a Friday night. John O'Keefe and Karen Read made plans to meet up with friends, go out for drinks. You saw through video evidence and eyewitnesses that they were affectionate, they were loving, they were in good spirits throughout that evening. They started off at C.F. McCarthy's, which you've heard about, eventually made their way over to the Waterfall Bar and Grill. When they got there, the Albert family, they were already there, and they were already drinking. The Albert family, it's been established as a very well-known family in Canton. They've got quite the reputation. Brian Albert was at the Waterfall, longtime Boston police officer. His wife, Nicole Albert, was there. She was with him. His brother, Chris Albert, who was a Canton board selectman, he was there. His wife, Julie Albert, their daughter, Caitlin, and his sister-in-law, Jennifer McCabe, whom you met, and her husband, Matthew McCabe, whom you did not meet.
Who you did not meet.
They were all there drinking before John and before Karen ever arrived. But also present at the waterfall that night was Brian Albert's friend, Brian Higgins. We know that he had a romantic design on Karen. That becomes an incredibly important fact as we discuss the facts of this case. As the bar was closing around midnight, the Alberts invited everybody back to their house. They wanted to keep the night going. But the evidence revealed something interesting, that the invitation to John O'Keefe appears to have been for a different reason, an alternate reason. Think about the video of Brian Higgins and what Michael Proctor in his investigation completely and utterly ignored. Higgins was agitated after a day of drinking, agitated that it was John and not Karen, John with Karen, not him. Recall that ominous text that he sent to Karen with her and John standing just feet away. Well, he got no response. And then we see this. That's what Brian Higgins was confronted with following his well text. What of all things starts going through Brian Higgins' mind? Where does his mind go? What is he thinking about after seeing this, after witnessing this? He shows you. And if Michael Proctor had been the least bit interested, this video would have shown him too. Take a look.
So this is 15 minutes after the well text. And they, you know, the defense's argument has been that, and I've been very vocal, I don't like this argument, that this was like a warm-up to a fight, which I think is ridiculous because it's not a 5K. You don't have to like stretch and, you know, do a warm-up jog or anything like that, right? But it does show that, you know, he's fucking like wasted. And like for some reason he's a grown-ass man fucking fake boxing with his friend. Like it's fucking weird. And this is 15 minutes after he just texted. Can I read? Well, like he's pissed. Like, what the fuck? What's going on? What are they doing? This is weird. What are they doing? It is weird. Here comes the grab assing. They're like pushing the tables. These are grown-ass men acting like this. It's fucking bizarre. I don't care what you say. This is goddamn bizarre behavior from men their age. I would never do this. Like, hey, you want to wrestle? Let's just dry hump each other in the middle of this goddamn bar. This is like weird male behavior. Just fucking, this is like I'm not getting laid tonight behavior. This is weird.
Sparring, practicing, fighting techniques. Where was Brian Higgins' mind? What was he thinking about? And then what happens? Before you look at the next video, think about what you're going to see. This next video is after he sees John kiss Karen on the forehead, after he sends that aggressive text to Karen with her standing just feet away. Watch closely, and this is what you're going to see. This is what Michael Proctor in his investigation completely ignored. Higgins is very clearly upset. He's agitated. Chris Albert tries to control him, tries to talk to him, calm him down perhaps. Chris forcefully grabs Higgins' arm. You'll see that in the video that you're about to watch. It appears that Chris is trying to calm him down from something. Brian Albert's standing right there with the other two men, but Brian Higgins is having none of it. He appears to be hyper-focused on one person and one person only, John O'Keefe. In an instant, Higgins angrily jerks his arm away from Chris.
Where's the video?
His brow.
Did I miss this?
He directly gestures at John.
I don't see the video.
A gesture that looks a lot like, let's step outside.
Whoa,
let's go outside. And John looks at him, takes a swig of beer, completely ignores him.
Did they not show the video? Why is it just a still shot of him dry humping?
Take a look.
Okay, all right. Oh, there it is. Okay. Good. Now watch John. Look at John. John's looking over at him. Look at John. Look at John. So he's going like this, and look at John. Oh, yeah, big tough guy. Big tough
Michael
guy.
Proctor, the lead investigator in this case, had all this footage, but he did nothing. He had access to the exact same thing that you saw. Why did he do nothing? A few minutes later, Higgins then texts John directly. You coming here? 3 question marks. It's now 12:20 a.m. These guys are not good friends. They barely spoke or even acknowledged each other when they walked into the bar together, other than a quick greeting. So why was Higgins coaxing John over to 34 Fairview? You coming here after this? And why not text Karen? Because at that moment, he wasn't interested in Karen. he was interested in John O'Keefe. This is about 5 minutes before John gets out of the SUV and walks toward the house, about 5 minutes before Karen sees him alive for the last time. So what happened inside that house, or that basement, or that garage? What evidence was there for the investigators to look into? What did they ignore? Laceration over John's right eyelid, black eyes, a large dog at the home, an obvious dog bite on John O'Keefe's right arm,
Obvious.
a head injury from falling backward onto a hard surface, alleged surface, a text from Higgins, one of the last people to ever communicate with John O'Keefe. You coming here? Those words now echo in the wake of John's death. But Michael Proctor, he didn't listen. When John didn't come back outside, Karen, very oblivious to what had happened, thinking she was just left alone in the car out in the cold in the middle of the night, she got frustrated and she drove home. She arrived back at home and her Wi-Fi connected to John's, her car or phone connected to John's Wi-Fi at 12:36 a.m. It's an important time, 12:36 a.m. She left John voicemail after voicemail after voicemail. He was unresponsive. He didn't pick up a single call. He didn't respond to a single text. The longer he didn't respond, the more upset she got. Her voicemails reflect that frustration after the fact. That's the frustration that you hear in her angry voicemails. She uses harsh words and foul language. She's obviously upset. She's obviously irritated because he didn't come back out of the house and he wasn't responding. But Karen did not know what you know. She didn't know.
I think what he should have added there was, these are not the kind of voicemails you leave for someone you think is dead. These are the kind of voicemails you leave for someone that you intend on reaming out the next time you see them alive. Like, that's a big thing. Like, those are the kind of messages that you're like, motherfucker, when I see you next, it ain't going to be pretty. I gotta have word. You are in for it, dude. I am going to you are never going to shut me up. I am going to ride your ass and just bust your fucking balls the next time I see you. That's the kind of, I think that needs to be hammered home. These are the kind of messages you don't leave a dead person. These are the kind of messages that prove that she thinks he's alive. That are really important.
Know what the investigators should have known. She didn't know what was happening with Higgins and Albert and with her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. When he didn't come home at about 5 a.m., Karen went looking for him in a panic. As you know, her worst fears were realized when she found John beaten, battered, bloody, and left in the snow in Brian Albert's front lawn. At 6 a.m., when Karen found John, you heard about the scene. It was described in detail. It was chaos. To use Mr. Brennan's word in his opening statement, it was bedlam. The screams for help by Karen, the yelling and the hollering, ambulances, emergency lights, fire engines, ladder trucks, paramedics, patrol vehicles, patrol officers, all of them swarming all over the lawn just under Brian Albert's bedroom window. And of course, as you learned during the course of this trial, Brian Albert, a sworn peace officer, a first responder trained in being a first responder, never came out of the house. Never went outside to help a fallen fellow officer.
Never.
Who was laying on his own property. Never came out.
Never came out.
And you learned through the undisputed evidence that the lead investigator, Michael Proctor, for his part, never went into the house. The Commonwealth has struggled to try to prove that John O'Keefe ended up in Brian Albert's front lawn because he was struck by a vehicle. They have failed.
Oh, that's where I am.
They cannot and they will not ever be able.
That's when I just walked in. You see me in the background. Hold on.
The Commonwealth has struggled to try to prove that John O'Keefe ended up in Brian Albert's front lawn because he was struck by a vehicle.
There it is. Award-winning journalism right there.
They have failed. They cannot and they will not ever be able to prove that John was struck by a vehicle beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty, because the science does not lie, the medical evidence does not lie, the physics do not lie. Their investigation was flawed from the start because their investigator was corrupted from the start by bias, personal loyalties. Folks, they cannot prove a collision. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. There was no collision. So let's start there. I want to take a minute to discuss the actual science, the actual physics, and the actual medical evidence that was presented in this case. The science, it's an old saying, is known as the silent witness. It doesn't lie, it doesn't forget, and notably, it doesn't take sides. If there was no collision, what are we doing here? In order for there to be a collision, there has to have been an impact site. The vehicle had to have struck John, period. I want to remind you of some of the most important testimony in the entire case, and it comes from the Commonwealth's own medical expert, Dr. Irene Scortibella, the Commonwealth's medical examiner, someone governed by law to make these decisions. We know that a person struck by a vehicle suffers massive trauma, broken bones, fractures, soft tissue damage, torn ligaments, contusions, soft tissue injury, severe tissue injury, crushing blows. None of that was present with John. None of it. Not anywhere on his body, including his right arm. Not one bruise.
Not one bruise. Nothing.
The fact is, the injuries are not from a vehicle impact. Not his head injury, not those scratch and bite wounds.
Nothing.
Not a single medical expert. Think about this. Not a single medical expert called by the defense or called by the Commonwealth has testified that John was hit by a car. Not one.
Not
Think
one.
about the irony. Not one. That's not just significant. It's literally the most important point in the entire trial.
Yeah, it's literally the entire fucking case. No one testified that he was hit by a car. It's kind of a problem, especially when the defense has 3, 4. I lost how many count of how many witnesses testified that John was not hit by a car. The ARCA people, La Posada. I mean, John was not hit. I think even Russell said it. Like, he wasn't hit by a car.
Listen again to Dr. Scorty Bellows' words. Question. You did not include in your autopsy, in any fashion, any discussion of whether Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were consistent with a motor vehicle accident, did you? Answer. No, I did not. She told you, quote, I did not see any evidence of an impact site, end quote. She was talking about John's body. The Commonwealth's own medical examiner, Dr. Scorty Bellows, performed the autopsy. She did it personally. She's the only one to have personally examined John's body, and she found no evidence of an impact site on his entire body. That in and of itself is reasonable doubt. You don't need anything more. The Commonwealth's case is done. It's cooked. Their own expert said there is no evidence of a collision, no evidence of an impact. If you want to know what an impact looks like, take a look at this.
And by the way, I see somebody asking in the comments, is there any filming of documentary during the second trial? So there's 2 documentaries going on right now. There's mine. You see my guy, Ray, the cameraman, follow me around sometimes. He's great. He's awesome. You'll also see Zora. Zora from, do we have a picture of her? From Sandpaper. Zora cut. What's her name? Kuetner. See if we can. I want to give you a warning about her. Okay. Yeah, this chick. So I saw her the other day outside the courthouse. I just want to warn people about her, who she is. And I want to like say something to her when I see her next. So if this woman, I think she's got like red hair on. She had jeans on the other day. She's the producer of the Pro McAlbert documentary that's going on Netflix. Okay. She works with Krusty, Jen McCabe. Fuck her. If she asks you to do an interview, tell her to fuck off. That's what you should do. Fuck off, because she's creating McAlbert propaganda and she can get fucked for that. Seriously, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with your cop killing bullshit propaganda, Zora. Nobody wants you here. Go back to fucking England. Nobody wants you here in the States. We don't fucking like you. Okay. Get the fuck out of here with your bullshit. Your bullshit. Right? Compelling Pictures gave them an opportunity to work with us, and they turned it down, and they want our people. We have David Yannetti. We got the Reed family. We got me. We got Microdots. They have our rights. They have exclusive rights to us. They can't interview any of us. Right. And she's there the other day, and she's like asking, hey, can we film you guys? No, you can get fucked. That's what she can do. If she comes up to you and asks you for an interview, oh, you want to be in the Netflix documentary? No, I don't. I don't want to be in your shitty bullshit, fake ass documentary. And where are all the blue people? Where are they? Where are these bitch ass motherfuckers who claim to like John O'Keefe so much? Where they at? Where's the Smurfs? Is Judd Welcher the only Smurf in this town anymore? Where else are these bitch ass mofos? Why are they not down here in these streets with the rest of us down here doing this? So no, Zora, you cannot have an interview, but you can get fucked. Please, proper fucked too. Go back to London. Take your fish and chips with you too. Get the fuck out of Dedham. Nobody wants you here. You're going to see these people on Monday. Yeah, they asked Microdots for Turtleboy footage. No, don't talk to Richie. Don't talk. They know better than to talk to me. Don't talk to David Yannetti. Don't talk to Fighting Bob. Don't talk to the Reed family. Don't talk to any Turtleboy supporters. I know some people might feel that, oh, I'd like to be in the documentary. Don't. You're going to look like a fucking idiot. If she puts you in there, it's going to be to make you look like a fucking moron. Right? Okay. I love, sorry, Laura. I know you guys are more than just fish and chips. Sometimes it's sausage and mashed potatoes too. Bangers and mash. I know that. Okay. But she can get fucked. Seriously. We gave her a chance, but she wanted to work with Gretchen. That's what it came down to. Did she have if you might, I've definitely seen her in pictures from the court. I saw her like in the morning. She was where all the people were waiting Karen's arrival. She was there. I just want to make sure that people understand who she is when she's down there. All right. So anyway, back to this.
This is what a body looks like after being struck by a car.
Oh, this was great.
25 miles an
This
hour.
was great.
And this is what a car looks like after hitting a person at 25 miles an hour. These are exhibits from Dr. Welcher.
Oh, they didn't show it?
John,
what the fuck is with the cameraman? How are you not going to show that? That was such a powerful moment when they put that up there. What the fuck? They didn't show that? The pictures of the guy, what a car looks like that hit somebody going 25 miles an hour. It came from Welcher's presentation. It was perfect. That resonated strongly with the jury. It had to.
didn't even have a bruise. Make no mistake, Dr. Scortibella was presented with the Commonwealth's theory of the case, the same case that you've been presented with, and she refused to conclude that John's death was a homicide. She flatly refused to conclude that there was a collision. And you know who agrees with that? That silent witness, the science, the physics, the data. Dr. Wolf and Dr. Rentschler, you just met them recently. They explained they were not initially hired by the defense. They were asked by another agency to conduct their analysis. They looked at the evidence from both sides, not taking a side for the defense or the Commonwealth, completely independent. They looked at the damage to the SUV on the one side of the coin. They looked at the injuries to John O'Keefe on the other side of the coin. Both PhDs, both engineers determined there was no collision. I'm not saying it. The science says it. That SUV's taillight was not damaged by striking an arm, and John was not struck by a 6,000-pound SUV. Period. Full stop.
Full stop.
Dr. Dan Wolf did the testing on the taillight. Actual testing, not some ridiculous blue paint kindergarten project. He did lab testing. He did field testing. He did data testing.
A blue paint kindergarten project. A finger painting blue paint. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Actual impact force analyses. In every single test at every single speed, the taillight damage was inconsistent with striking an arm. In every test, the taillight damage was inconsistent with damaging the shirt, the sweatshirt. Remember that severe internal damage to Karen Lee Reed's taillight. Not just the outer lens. The internal diffusers were completely smashed, completely shattered. ARCA testing established that all the internal components of every single test taillight, especially the diffusers, remained completely intact. Conversely, on Karen's taillight, the diffusers were almost completely gone.
Yes.
Folks, understand something. If any part of that diffuser portion of the taillight is broken, there is no light. It doesn't illuminate at all. It's just black. Let's take a look at a couple of photos. At 5:07 a.m. at One Meadows.
I love this.
Photograph on the left. What do you notice about the right taillight? It's completely illuminated. Later, at 4:12 in the afternoon, photograph on the right. It's lit up. How can that be? How can that be if the Commonwealth claims that those diffusers, the portion that lights up the light, were already scattered all over 34 Fairview? That's their theory. But don't believe your lying eyes. The taillight's completely lit up. That would be impossible.
I'm so glad they pointed that out because I don't think they hit the diffusers strong enough in the cross-examination there. And I'm really glad they did it here because the diffusers are very important. It explains what they do.
Dr. Andrew Rentschler, PhD, a biomechanist, explained that at those speeds, the other side of that coin, John's arm would be basically destroyed. Contusions, swelling, torn ligaments, hyperextensions, dislocation of joints and bones, fractured, broken, and shattered. But as you know, John's arm was pristine, save those dog and claw bites. He didn't even have a bruise. Think about this. Think about that photo of those x-rays as you deliberate. You can manipulate a taillight fragment. That's not that hard. You can't manipulate a bruise. If they claim the car was going fast enough to shatter the taillight and shatter the diffusers, then it was also going fast enough to destroy and shatter John's arm, and it simply did not.
This is the most powerful piece of evidence, the x-ray. And we didn't, they hid it. Hank hid this. This is the most powerful piece of evidence that John does not have a single, look at that fucking arm. That arm is in pristine condition, boys and girls. Look at it. It is perfectly fine. There is not a single fracture anywhere, nothing resembling it on that body. Nothing. Nothing. And just picture, I am so glad they showed the video of the car going 29 miles an hour. So you see exactly how fast that is. Boom. Done. Your arm would be fucked, dude. Fucked. You wouldn't have a goddamn arm. Fucked.
How do they square that? They don't, and they can't. So they spent nearly $400,000 of taxpayer money to hire someone to dress up and look like John and paint his arm blue, which told you exactly nothing.
Paint his arm blue.
The ARCA testing, conversely, also established that it is impossible for John's sweatshirt sleeve to be damaged by an impact with the taillight. The Commonwealth's theory is that the sleeve of John's hoodie sweatshirt was damaged by flying shards of taillight slicing through the shirt and through John's arm. I have 3 questions. Number 1, John's arm had about 36 abrasions. How did 36 shards of acrylic go through 9 tiny little puncture holes?
It doesn't.
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
Somebody needs to answer that.
Yeah.
Number 2, why are there no slices or cuts in the hoodie? All the defects are punctures. Punctures that you might get from, say, I don't know, canine teeth. And number 3, if the shards cut bloody gouges into John's arm, that's their theory. Why is there no blood, no skin, no tissue on a single shard of taillight that they claim came in contact with John's arm? The Commonwealth cannot answer a single one of those questions because John's arm was not impacted by the taillight. It doesn't make sense simply because it didn't happen. Compare and contrast the ARCA experts and their actual testing to Judd Welcher. He came to you in the Commonwealth's case in chief, and he told you that for the better part of $500,000, he'd come in and testify that John was tall enough to touch the taillight with his elbow.
I love this. Who cares?
That's it.
Who cares?
And even in that basic demonstration, he had to lean in to manipulate it to get the results that he wanted.
Yep.
Dr. Welcher then claimed that the reason he didn't do the reconstruction, the actual testing, think about what he said. There isn't enough evidence to determine what happened. I beg your pardon?
Yep.
What happens when there isn't enough evidence?
Pardon? I don't know. You tell me.
You vote not guilty.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Yeah, generally.
That's out of his mouth, not mine. The Commonwealth also used the same company, Aperture, to try to establish a time of a collision that never occurred. The Commonwealth called Shannon Burgess, the supposed expert from Aperture. There is a cardinal sin for experts, folks, a cardinal sin. It's called confirmation bias. It's when you decide to change your opinion to fit a theory. The most important takeaway from Shannon Burgess' testimony was how brazen, how shameless he was in trying to change the data to try to suit the Commonwealth. Remember Mr. Brennan's opening statement. He made some promises to you. He said, this case is about the data. He stressed it over and over again. They've had 3.5 years to get this right. The Commonwealth has had this case for 3.5 years to get it right. So his top expert, Dr. Welcher, prepares a report. And that report says that John O'Keefe was struck by Karen Reed's SUV at 12:31:38. Note that time, 12:31:38. He was struck. He was immediately incapacitated. He was immediately unconscious. So says Judd Welcher and the Commonwealth's theory. But there was a huge, huge problem with that.
Huge.
And somewhere in the middle of trial, somebody must have realized it. They must have realized that the very data they produced unequivocally establishes that they are wrong about a collision. It could not have happened. Why? Because John was interacting with his phone after 12:31:38. Remember, the collision immediately incapacitating. How could he be interacting with his phone afterward? He was on his phone, opening his phone, checking his phone, reading texts on his phone, and locking his phone, all of it, after 12:31:38, which is the time Welcher clocked for the moment of the impact.
But then it changed.
He was taking steps and walking with that phone after 12:31:38 also.
That's a problem.
That's what their own data showed, and it devastated their case.
Yep.
And it devastated that false theory.
No worries, though.
There must have been panic, I'm guessing, in the room. What do we do now? The data shows John wasn't struck by the car. What do we do? Enter Shannon Burgess. Question. Can you believe him? Can you believe Mr. Burgess? He came up with a brand new story right in the middle of trial. You might ask yourself, would an expert actually say something he knows not to be true? Would an expert actually say something he knows is not supported by fact? Would an expert shade the truth? You don't have to look any further than Shannon Burgess's CV to answer that question. That was a shame. Even with the pull and push and stretch and manipulation of the time data that Mr. Burgess came in here and told you about, it still shows that John O'Keefe was very much alive and walking around.
You're right. That would have been a good time to mention 12:36. Like, dude, that's a really important time because remember, she has logged into her Wi-Fi at 12:36. So she couldn't have made it back in that time. She couldn't have made it back in that time.
After they claim he was hit and incapacitated. Think about that. Matt DeSogra looked at Burgess's report and told you that in 30 out of 30 scenarios of the possible time skews that Shannon Burgess identified, he came in the middle of trial and identified all these other time skews that he called it. In every single scenario, John was alive and walking after they said he was hit. And that's a problem for them because there was no collision. Just look at Mr. Whiffen's data, Ian Whiffen. John O'Keefe took 31 steps at a steady rate, about 83 feet. And then think about this, in a westerly direction that would be right toward the house.
Right toward the house.
Remember, it's 78 feet to that garage door. That's not a coincidence. The Commonwealth's witnesses, or the Commonwealth's witness, Mr. Ian Whiffen himself conceded that he has reasonable doubts about the accuracy of John's location data. Remember that question and answer in cross-examination by Mr. Leslie. Do you have doubts? I do. Are those doubts reasonable? They are. And remember, it's still the Commonwealth's burden. If their own cell phone expert has a reasonable doubt about John's location, so should you. John O'Keefe was inside, and the phone battery temperature further proves it. This is not speculation. This is science, and it's irrefutable. It tells us that he was not laying outside in the cold. He was inside somewhere a little bit warmer.
Like a garage.
When the iPhone is exposed to freezing temperatures. Think about these numbers. When the iPhone is exposed to freezing temperatures, it will drop from 81 to 21 degrees in 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
That's a 60-degree drop in 15 minutes. Now look.
Yeah, they are using their own data against them. The cell phone data is some of the most exculpatory shit ever, because the battery data shows that the phone never goes below 40 degrees, dude. It can't be it can't be outside. It can't be outside. It's impossible.
Look at John's phone. It was laying, according to the Commonwealth, it was laying directly on frozen ground. He arrived at 34 Fairview and his phone dropped only 20 degrees over the course of an hour. Then inexplicably, it stayed steady, never dropping below 50 degrees for the next 4.5 hours, never dropping below 50 degrees for the next 4.5 hours, basically through the entire night. He was not outside. He was someplace warmer, like a basement
or a garage.
Dr. Laposada confirmed that John O'Keefe did not have hypothermia. No telltale signs, no telltale Wisniewski spots, no frostbite on any extremity. He did not die of hypothermia because he wasn't outside. Dr. Isaac Wolf, Dan Wolf, Elizabeth Laposada, Judson Welsher, Andrew Winchler, all agreed. Every expert agreed. This is how John O'Keefe died.
Do they show this, please?
A rearward fall from a standing position.
This was great. I love this. Boom. That's how John died.
Agreed. This is how John O'Keefe died. A rearward fall from a standing position.
Just like that. Judd Welcher shows it too. This can easily happen, dude. If you fall like this and you hit your head on a fucking stair or something like that, you can totally happen. Boom.
What can make you fall straight back like that? Let's just think about that for a second. What can make you fall from a standing position, as Judd Welcher just showed us, standing up, falling straight back? Add a laceration to the right eye consistent with a fist or a punch, and you've got your answer. He certainly didn't sustain that wound on the back of his head by falling backwards onto a lawn. Dr. Laposada told you that the pattern injury on the back of John's head could only be produced by hitting a hard, ridged, or ledged surface, like a concrete stair or step. What's just through that garage door? Michael Proctor never stepped down in that garage to find out. What a shame.
They had a picture of the garage door on the screen too. I don't know why they're not showing this on TV. So that was cool.
Look at the arm.
What's through that garage door? You know who has been in that garage door? Alan Jackson has been in the garage at 34 Fairview Road. P.I. Paul Mikowski has been in there. The owners of 34 Fairview Road in the summer of 2023 gave full access of 34 Fairview Road to Karen Reed's defense team. Anywhere they wanted to go, she let them go because she knows this is bullshit too. The new owner, she's also not happy about the fact that this was not disclosed to her when she bought the house. They never told her this. So Alan Jackson has been in that garage. Keep that in mind.
Just look at John's arm. You don't need the top experts in the country, but you had them. You don't need the top medical minds on the planet on this issue, but you had them. These are dog bites and scratches. These are animal wounds. Not one witness has been called in their trial. Not one. 8 weeks and counting. Not one witness who actually disputes that John O'Keefe's arm injuries are from a dog. The Commonwealth could not find a single medical expert, a single medical witness who would come in here and tell you those are inconsistent with a dog bite or a scratch. And it's equally clear that there was no collision. Dr. Laposada told you in probably the clearest voice in the entire trial. You remember her testimony. He didn't get hit by a car, was her words. He just didn't get hit by a car. You remember the question that was posed by Mr. Brennan. Did you consider the speed of the vehicle? And she said, speed didn't matter because he didn't get hit by a car.
Yes.
She repeated it 3 times because it's true, not just because she says so, but because the medical evidence proves it. The medical science proves it.
Yes,
there was no collision. Dr. Winchler told you unequivocally and just as firmly he didn't get hit by a car. The Commonwealth has not met their burden. They cannot meet their burden. The Commonwealth hasn't called a single medical professional, not one, to testify that John's wounds came from being hit by a car. Not Dr. Sporty Bello, not Dr. Isaac Wolf. Contrast that with the caliber and the quality of the experts who came in here to tell you what is obvious to anyone with common sense. Those wounds on his right arm are from a dog. This was not an oversight by the Commonwealth. It's just that there is no one out there, no matter how big a check you write. There's not a medical expert who's going to disagree with that. The fact is, this is the central fact in the case. The only fact that matters is literally uncontested by every medical expert. Uncontested, undisputed. There is no evidence that John was hit by a car.
No evidence, none.
How much more reasonable doubt could there be?
Reasonable doubt.
This case should be over right now. Done.
Should be.
Because there was no collision.
Yes.
So given all that, how did Karen Reed end up sitting here? Why is she even here? Why is she in that chair? Why is she in this courtroom?
Good question.
There's a reason for that. And it's a reason they don't want to tell you, and it's a reality they don't want to admit to. The reason we're here is because the system, the very system that was meant to protect her, that was meant to protect all of us, that system has failed badly. So now let's discuss the facts that were and were not presented by the Commonwealth in this case. Over the next few minutes, I want to talk about the utter failure of the police to investigate this properly and to investigate this fully. And what you're going to see is that Michael Proctor, the lead investigator for the Commonwealth, did nothing to actually properly investigate this case. Let's start with the house. That's the most logical place to start. I think you'd agree. Brian Albert's house, where John's body was discovered lifeless in the lawn. A man, a police officer, is found dead on the front lawn.
So now they're going to get to fault. Like they never outright accuse anyone of killing John O'Keefe. They don't do what they did last trial, where they come up with a whole story about him being lured into the house in the basement and blah, 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 even though that's probably what happened, right? They are just pointing out all the things police didn't look into that could have led them to potentially another suspect, right? We are here today because they only looked at one suspect and everyone else was given the benefit of the doubt. That is a faulty investigation. That is a reasonable doubt.
And no one secures the scene. No tape, no preservation of evidence, no crime scene log, no search warrants, no consent searches, no photographs of the house interior. They didn't treat the house as a crime scene, and shamefully, they didn't even treat the yard as a crime scene. The lame excuse offered by retired Lieutenant Gallagher: it was really cold and windy, and I didn't know if there was a crime that had been committed. What?
What?
You didn't know that a crime had potentially been committed? You have a man laying dead in the yard, and here are the undisputed facts that those officers were confronted with. Black eyes. Obviously, black eyes are consistent with a fight. Bloody nose, also consistent with a fight. Bleeding from the face, consistent with a physical altercation. A cut over the right eye, consistent with a punch. No coat in the freezing cold, not dressed for outside, dressed for inside, and one shoe on. I wonder where the other shoe could be. I don't know, maybe in the house 30 feet away.
Yes.
And then you find a broken and shattered drinking glass next to him, the type of glass that you might find, I don't know, let me think about this, in a kitchen, in a house, 30 feet away.
Perfect. Perfect.
And John's phone was tucked neatly under his back shoulder.
Neatly. How'd that
Lieutenant
get
Gallagher actually claimed he did not know it was a potential crime that needed investigating. The neighbor across the street, Detective Lieutenant Kelleher, had a ring camera that was pointed at the exact direction where John O'Keefe would have been hit. And nobody bothered to secure it.
Nobody
bothered to secure it. Nobody even bothered to look at it.
Nope. They just took his word for it.
Potential crime scene. Of course it was. Let's not forget, this was Brian Albert's house, and that comes with privileges. Quote, is the homeowner going to catch any shit?
Nope.
Nope.
He's a Boston
cop too. End quote. That quote starts to make a little more sense now, doesn't it?
Yep. Does
Michael
to me.
Proctor wrote those words just hours after John's body was found. He sent this in a private chat, in a private text he never, ever believed would ever be revealed. He sent that text in a series of messages that now belong to you. You weren't given the opportunity to hear from Michael Proctor, but you can read his thoughts for yourself. And I urge you, go read them.
Yeah,
go read Exhibit 209,
yeah.
209.
209. Go read that shit.
But here are the highlights. Proctor starts the conversation. Quote, all the powers that be, one answers ASAP.
ASAP.
He's getting pressure, obviously, to get this done. His friend then asks what Proctor's probably thinking at the time. Quote, I assume you guys are out to make it cut and dry since it involves cops.
Yep.
Something stinks.
Something.
Proctor responds, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Something stinks. And then he goes on, but there will be some serious charges brought on the girl.
Serious.
Think about that. Hours into this investigation, there will be some serious charges brought on the girl. She's a whack job cunt. Yeah, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. No ass. No ass bitch.
No ass bitch. I mean, how he told me the other day is like, yeah, he told me he's doing a show in Fall River. I'm like, no asses down there. It's like, that's all I can think of when you say Fall River now. I'm like, no ass. No ass bitch. Who called her that? Was it the Chico? Imagine calling someone a no-ass bitch. Like, yeah. Like he goes, yeah, weird Fall River accent, no ass. And like, oh yeah, fuck her, no ass bitch. What? No ass bitch. These are fucking cavemen. Like literal fucking cavemen in charge of a murder investigation. I am a degenerate fuck when it comes to my language and everything. And I've never called a woman a no ass bitch, especially somebody in a professional mode. Like even as a teacher, there was a lot of parents I couldn't stand, right? They were annoying as fuck, up my ass, emails about their kids' grades and shit like that, blah, blah, blah. And I never, with my friends would be like, oh, fuck that no ass bitch. What? No ass bitch? Who talks like that? I don't know. It's just like they all do. They literal cavemen sitting around being like, oh, weird fuck. Like the first thing they talk about is just like, oh yeah, fucking leaks poo. What? Leaky balloon that leaks poo? What? That's the first thing you say? How did he even know about her medical conditions that fast? How did he even know that? Yikes.
She's got a leaky balloon knot, leaks poo, 0 chance she skates. She's fucked. And up to this point, Michael Proctor had done 0 investigation, nothing, save talk to a grand total of 3 people, all of whom were named Albert or McCabe. That's it. And this was his mindset.
And I'm sorry, like even if we give Proctor the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, suppose Proctor didn't know the McAlberts and he wasn't biased towards them. Of course, we know he is, and he was, because his family is close with the McAlberts, blah, blah. But suppose Proctor is just, we take them at their word for it, their face value, that like, oh, he's just really mad about a cop getting killed, right? He let his emotions take over. That it was just really uncontrolled. Because he was so upset about John O'Keefe getting killed that he just took it out on this woman, right? Well, this can't be the first. If he's this emotional, how many other people has he done this to? Where he just immediately, it's like, so whenever he comes across a homicide of a complete stranger who he doesn't know, he's just like, yeah, like fuck, within 24 hours, fuck the first person I thought did this. Fuck them. They're a bad person. And I don't need to know anything else about anyone else. That person's just bad. We cannot be policed by people like this. It's so dangerous. It's so retarded too. Like, how can you're in charge? Like, that's a problem. They shouldn't be in charge of anything. That's a really stupid thing to do.
This is the same lead investigator who sent the group chats that you heard about with Sergeant Butnick. Late night, sitting at his office, rifling through Karen's phone, bragging about looking for naked pictures of her. That text wasn't sent to his buddies or his friends. That text was sent to his supervisors at the Massachusetts State Police, for God's sake. And what was their response? Sergeant Buchanan liked this conduct with a big old thumbs up. He encouraged it.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lead investigator is supposed, every investigator is supposed to be objective, an objective fact finder.
And we're not going to have time to get the Spankies thing tonight. And maybe we'll do that on a show Monday if this fucking shit show is still going on. We'll do Spanky's whole thing. I just didn't have it in me to listen to Spanky tonight. I could do it. I could make fun of him. Probably get some good content out of it. But, you know, Bukkake was like the hero of Spanky's thing. Like the protagonists in Spanky's fake retelling of this are Jennifer McCabe, the soccer mom, Bukkake, and Timothy Nuttall. Those are like the heroes of his retelling of this story, his fictional retelling of the death of John O'Keefe. And Bukkake, it just was down there at the courthouse. And did you guys see the video of him getting booed down there? His ass got booed. Let me see if I can find it. I think I finally got some video of it. Here it is.
Thou shalt not lie. Liar. Thou shalt not lie. Liar. Please, no.
First of all, look at his pants are too fucking short. Look at him. Look at those socks. Look at this goofy motherfucker. He's dressing like Hank. Shows up in all black. Everybody's booing him. He doesn't give a fuck. Goes right over to his Malibu, the same car I yelled at him, Bukkake loser in.
Thou shalt not lie.
Mate, like, I loved this too. Like, by the way, this bitch ass motherfucker, the charges got dropped against him with me too. Yeah. Oh yeah. This bit, I wanted to ask him too, but I'm not trying to pick up another charge. Oh, intimidate this guy. I wanted to ask him, like, are you still scared of me, motherfucker? Are you still intimidated by me? Remember when your bitch ass told the grand jury that you were scared of me? That I made you feel unsafe? Oh, you were scared. Widow, you, Mr. Bukkake, Big Bad Sergeant Bukkake was scared of Widow Turtleboy. Oh, yeah. You went in front, this bitch ass motherfucker went in front of a goddamn grand jury full of strangers and got up there like a grown ass man and said he was scared of me. Can you believe that? Because I had a megaphone, he said. Oh, he's scared of his megaphone. It amplified noise. Oh, no. There were words coming out of his mouth, and the bullhorn made them louder. And then he called me Bukkake loser. And then he called me Michael Proctor's bitch, and I am. And it really stung because it was true. The hurtful things hurt the most. He hurt my feelings. Imagine being a man and doing that. That's why Lucky Locker is 10 times the man that any of these mofos will be. He would never say he was intimidated by fucking internet talk, even though I was critical of him at first. But these motherfuckers want to get up here and cry. And so I was really tempted, since my charges against him are dropped, I should be able to go up to him and be like, hey, motherfucker, still scared of me? You know, but I didn't. I resisted the urge. I'm on bail. I'm not playing with fire. I got kids. I can't do that. But all these mofos were booing him. And you know what? It's just weird because he was the protagonist of the Hank speech at the, and he was there. Why is he there? He didn't go in the courtroom. And he didn't hide in the DA's office either. He was standing in the hallway in his Men in Black suit. And all these just watching the jury, sending a message to him like, oh, I'm here. I'm the hero. And I'm looking at you. He was just standing in the hallway of Norfolk Superior Court as the jury walked by. Why was he there? For what reason did Bukkake have to show up at this event? You tell me. Anyway, back to this.
No bias, no agenda. Michael Proctor went far beyond just insulting Karen Reed. He dehumanized this woman. He betrayed her as a human being. He was fired for this blatant bias. If the Massachusetts State Police can't trust him, how can you trust him with this investigation and with your verdict? And with Karen Reed's life. The lead investigator in a murder trial was never called to testify. Think about that. That should stop you in your tracks.
Yep.
Wouldn't you want to hear from Michael Proctor? Wouldn't you want to hear from the lead investigator in the case? Don't you have questions? The Commonwealth did not present their own lead investigator to the jury, the very jury who was charged with judging the investigation. Michael Proctor clearly is radioactive, and the Commonwealth stayed away from it. Michael Proctor is no longer a Massachusetts State Police officer. He wasn't transferred. He didn't go on sabbatical. He didn't retire. He didn't resign. He was fired. He was terminated for cause. The Massachusetts State Police investigated him, found him guilty of dishonorable conduct, not just for those text messages, folks, for sharing confidential information with witnesses and for bias. Not just any bias. Bias in this case. Fired. This is the man who touched every single piece of important evidence in this case. All the evidence that was brought before you in this trial went through his hands one way or another. The shirts, the shards. Remember that when Mr. Brennan gets up and gives his closing argument. The shirts, the shards, all in Michael Proctor's possession. Mr. Brennan and the Commonwealth, I think, have pinned their hopes on some microscopic pieces of, or close to microscopic pieces of plastic that were claimed to have been scraped from the hoodie several months after the fact. What he failed to ask every single witness, is who had access to that shirt and who had access to those taillight fragments. And the answer is it was Michael Proctor. Not for days, not for weeks, for months on end, for months unaccounted for, before they were submitted to the crime lab, before they were ever scraped. Still look at the chain of custody documents. You've got them. Why didn't Michael Proctor give those clothes to Maureen Hartnett with the crime lab when she was at Canton PD just days after the fact to receive those solo cups? Remember that? Just a few days later, she was there. She drove up. She did the driving to take the solo cups in the grocery bag, which has a ridiculous aspect to it in and of itself as well. Why not just give her the shirts as well? Give her the taillight fragments if any were found at that point. Why hold on to them? What could possibly be a reason?
I don't know.
Why
You
wait
tell
until
me.
March to book those into evidence?
I don't know.
Now let's talk about some of the other problems with the Commonwealth's evidence. As I indicated, there was no blood, no skin, no tissue, no DNA found on a single piece or shard of the taillight that the Commonwealth claims cut and sliced into John O'Keefe's arm. Where is that trace evidence? Where is that biological evidence? The DNA. Where is it? They got nothing.
Nothing.
Not a single piece that the Commonwealth wants you to believe cut up John's arm. How is that possible? It's not possible.
Nope.
The only way it's possible is if those shards never touched his arm.
Right.
Because it was a dog.
Because it was a dog. Because I love that.
Oh, and the one sample of DNA that they did find, by the way,
Loved
was
it.
found on the outer smooth part of the housing. Not any shard. It was the outer smooth part of the housing. Nothing that they claim actually came in contact with John O'Keefe.
Nothing.
Number two, that sample had DNA of two other men, two other unidentified males. That tells you that that DNA had nothing to do with a car strike. That DNA would be expected to be, John's DNA would be expected to be all over that car. Inside, outside, he had access to that car for months and months and months. He was in and out of it all the time. Show me some blood, then we'll talk. They can't, and they won't because it doesn't exist. That SUV never hit John.
SUV never, John.
The hair found on the bumper. The Commonwealth really stretched its own
Oh, they
credibility on
love
this, and
that.
magic
They
little
love
hair
the
on the
hair.
SUV supposedly survived a 37-mile drive in 47-mile-an-hour winds. But that little magic hair just clung there, just hung on. That same hair that moved in between photos in the Sally Port. Remember that? There were two photos taken, and it was either the breath of the photographer or just the movement of walking by the hair. It literally moved between the two photographs. But that hair is supposed to have hung on in a 37-mile drive in a blizzard?
I know. It's just, that's a great point. That's fucking hair that we spend all that time on. Who was it? Maureen Hartnett that wouldn't admit that it moved. I forget. One of them wouldn't admit that it moved. Like while they were taking the picture, the fucking thing moved, but it didn't move in the blizzard. Come on. That hair was not there. Or like, what the fuck?
The only thing that hair proves that the Commonwealth is embarrassingly grasping at straws. That hair has nothing to do with anything. But it doesn't stop there. There was another revelation at trial, a big one, a huge one, and it came from a very unlikely source. Christina.
And some people were pointing out that, like, where was Brian Albert and them for this trial? Well, they could have brought Brian Albert, I guess, but the jury wouldn't know what he is because bitch ass Hank didn't call him or Colin Albert. None of them were called. So suddenly, you know, they're not important enough to come to this. We'll see who's there on Monday.
Hanley, quiet,
verdict.
reserved criminalist who told you something the Commonwealth likely did not want revealed because it's devastating to their case. Absolutely devastating. And it's this. The glass on the bumper didn't match the cocktail glass. None of it. Remember, February 11th, Michael Proctor, without any other person with him, no witness, no supervisor, no other person with him, claims to have found a single piece of glass at the scene. February 11th, single piece of glass, Michael Proctor. Keep that in mind. Interestingly, the glass on the bumper that didn't match the cocktail glass, one piece did match one other thing. The Proctor glass. Those two go together. The only two things that go together from that bumper, the Proctor glass. We know that there's no glass in the taillight. We know that nothing else was shattered on the vehicle. Therefore, that glass had to be placed there. Didn't come from a crash. Didn't come from a cocktail glass.
Nope.
So how did it get sprinkled on the back of the bumper?
I know.
Whose proverbial fingerprints are on that glass on the bumper?
Oh, I know.
The only thing it matched was Michael Proctor.
Oh, yeah.
What about the Ford Edge and that snowplow driver, Brian Loughran? He observed that Ford Edge parked outside Brian Albert's house at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah,
that vehicle was moved directly in front of where John's body was found sometime between 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning. The only person connected to a car of that make and model, Brian Albert. Michael Proctor did nothing to investigate that point. Did nothing to investigate whose Ford Edge was parked in a spot specifically to block the line of sight in the exact position where John's body would be later found by Karen Reed. No one, not Michael Proctor or anybody else, checked it for evidence. No one even asked any questions about it. That Ford Edge, Brian Albert's Ford Edge, completely ignored. Michael Proctor failed to interview obvious.
See, I think they should have driven home there too. Think about that. It's a Ford Edge. It's a car. They're saying John O'Keefe got hit by a car. And they became aware 18 months after the fact that a car was parked next to John's body. The guy who saw it says there was no body in that exact spot half an hour beforehand. And then a car was parked there. Why did they not find out who was driving that car? It doesn't matter. If it was the McAlberts, it doesn't matter who it was. Whoever was driving that vehicle was parked next to a dead body. That is so suspicious. At the very least, they are an eyewitness. Let's suppose just some innocent person that pulled over to take a leak for some reason or check their phone. I don't know, something. They were parked next to a dead body. You could ask them, did you see a dead body there? They would be a witness. Something. Just saying.
Witnesses in this case. Why? Why didn't he want to speak to the snowplow driver, Brian Loughran? Why did he falsely claim that no one plowed the roadway that morning? When police dash cam video, you saw the dash cam, it shows plows going back and forth all morning. Why did he wait so long, years even, to interview Heather Maxson and Ryan Nagel, individuals who were literally outside 34 Fairview at the exact same time John and Karen arrived at Brian Albert's house that night? Brian Loughran, had he been investigated or interviewed, would have told Michael Proctor that he drove past the lawn multiple times on January 29th, and there was no body on the lawn. He would have had the perfect view. Remember, the weatherman told you there was only enough snow at that time. I think he said, in a very charming phrase, only enough snow to track a cat. I think that was it. There was no body there. Heather Maxson and Ryan Nagel would have told him that they arrived at 34 Fairview shortly after Karen and John pulled up behind them, and they would have told Michael Proctor, at least Heather would have told Michael Proctor, that when she left 10 minutes later, she drove past the SUV and observed Karen Reed in the driver's side, dome light on, passenger seat empty. So where was John? Wasn't outside, wasn't sitting down, wasn't laying down. There's only one place he could be. We could all say it together if you could talk with me. He was in the house.
In the house. Say it with me. Say it with
Michael
me.
Proctor did not want to have those answers. He did not want to have to disclose those answers. He didn't want the truth. The Commonwealth has presented a shred of evidence of when Karen Reed consumed her last drink that night. Think about that. It's critical information that the Commonwealth has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. They have to prove when her last drink was that night. They have to prove it. We don't have to prove or disprove anything. Every single witness who was asked and who had an opportunity to observe Karen that night said the same thing. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't stumbling. She wasn't slurring her words. She was, in the words of Ms. Kolakithis, completely normal. Even Jennifer McCabe grudgingly had to admit that fact. It's on video. Instead, they used Yuri Buchanan to try to come into court and count sips of alcohol, which he admittedly got wrong. According to Ian Whiffen, the Commonwealth's own expert, the location data, using location data on John's phone, showed Karen driving lawfully. She was driving safely. She was under the speed limit. She was slowing and stopping at stop signs, slowing around corners. And Ryan Nagel corroborated that when he saw her make that left-hand turn onto Fairview. The Commonwealth has an incredibly high burden to prove that Karen was driving under the influence. They have failed to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty because it depends on when she had her last drink.
Right.
What happened after she got home and she was upset with John for not coming back out of the house? That would answer that question. As you well know, no one searched the house for signs of a struggle. Not that night, not the next day. I'm talking about 34 Fairview. Not ever. Not once. Not with a warrant, not with consent. They never went into the basement, the stairwells. They didn't look at the walls. They didn't look in the garage.
The garage.
Nothing was ever examined. Nothing was
Alan went in the garage.
Nothing was checked for DNA. They didn't look for a ledge or ridged surface. Zero. You'll remember how surprised Jennifer McCabe was to recall that there was a garage door even on the house. Except this was her sister's house. She's been going to that house since she was 5. She's seen that house. She's been in and out of that house hundreds of times, maybe thousands of times. She's been going to that house her entire life, and yet she acted surprised when I asked her about it. Remember Jennifer McCabe's answer when I asked her whether there was a door at the garage? I was asking her about the front door, the side door, and the garage door. And her answer was, oh, actually there is a garage door right there. Investigators never opened that door. Let's change the scenario. What if it wasn't the house of a Boston cop? What if it wasn't the house of Brian Albert? We can be certain that investigators would have torn that house apart to get answers about why a fellow police officer was laying dead on the homeowner's lawn. You can betcha.
You can betcha.
But because this was Brian Albert's house, a Boston cop, nope.
Nope.
And because he was a fellow cop, an insider, they didn't even open the door.
Didn't even open the door.
That is not justice, folks. That's just pure favoritism. Each of these facts is more than a question mark. They're failures of duty. They're blank spots on a map where justice is supposed to live. And every single one is a reason why you cannot convict Karen Reed. Reasonable doubt abounds. If the Commonwealth failed to investigate every reasonable alternative, how dare they come in here and ask you for a verdict? They didn't investigate the case fully, and yet they're asking you to take the easy road and do their job for them. These facts do not represent reasonable doubt. Nothing does. Every one of these facts that you're seeing that we're talking about represents reasonable doubt. Everyone. The police and the prosecution are in a position to take people's liberty. It's the most dire and consequential act a civilized government can take against one of its citizens. Their obligation is not just to try to get it right. They have to convince you to the highest degree of certainty known in human affairs. They have to do it all, every bit of it, beyond any and all reasonable doubt. And they have not done that here. And how about the homeowner himself? The host, the first responder, the Boston cop, Brian Albert, who was sparring and practice fighting with Brian Higgins just minutes before John O'Keefe appeared at his house, 34 Fairview. Brian Albert, who was watching Chloe that night, the German Shepherd. Brian Albert, whose phone and his wife's phone were never secured. Brian Albert, who never came out of the house. But that doesn't mean he wasn't awake. It doesn't mean that he wasn't on his phone. Think about this.
I loved what he said there about the highest degree of moral certainty or whatever. Like, you have to just pound that in, bro. You cannot convict on maybe. You can't fucking do it. Like, yeah, definitely. Like, they haven't. This isn't even close to something that you can convict someone on. We're not even close to it. And Beverly Cannoni does not fucking emphasize that enough. And the way she reads the jury instructions, the jury wasn't even listening to her. They like put like, it's like, you cannot do this. You must return a verdict of this. You must return a verdict. Like, dude, can you say it with some passion? Can you have a little bit of inflection, whatever, on the important parts? Like, change your volume when it gets to the important part about, like, listen, guys, you can't do this on a maybe. Like, you have to be fucking, when everything's done in a quiet, monotone voice, they're not listening and they don't get it. These aren't professional jurors, you know?
Claimed that her sister and Brian Albert both slept through this complete chaos right outside their bedroom window. But Jennifer McCabe's phone records tell a different story, and they tell
it was like a user agreement. Exactly.
The better part of a minute.
That's exactly like what it was.
Detailed about it at 5:07 a.m. And then she lied about that call. Remember that? What was the reason for that call at 5:07? Was it panic? Was it a warning? We know that conversation took place at the precise time Karen left her house to go search for John, 5:07. We could answer those questions if we just had access to their phones. Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Michael Proctor wasn't interested in their phones. Not only did he not secure their phones, he never even asked.
Nah.
And what about Brian Albert's dog, Chloe? A dog with a history. A dog that is, quote, not good with strangers. Dr. Russell confirmed that John's patterned injuries were from a dog, just like the dog Brian Albert owned. And then Chloe just disappeared. Not there the next morning. None of the officers that you heard from said that there was a dog in the house. They didn't see her. Just gone.
It's gone.
And then ultimately gotten rid of altogether. Who gets rid of their family pet?
Shady
Unless they had
people.
something to hide.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Proctor wasn't interested in that either.
No.
And recall the group chat with the Alberts and the McCabes. They were getting their story straight. Matt McCabe, whom the Commonwealth did not call in this trial, instructed the group in that group chat, you'll recall, tell him to say the guy never came in the house.
Was that introduced into evidence? I'm glad he said that, but I don't remember that being introduced into evidence because they didn't call Matt McCabe. That's my favorite text of all their shady texts. Tell him the guy never came in the house. Nobody sends that message. Nobody sends that message if the guy actually didn't come in the house. That is not something you say if the guy never came in the house. It's just not. Tell him the guy never came in the house. Why? Why are you guys talking about ways to get yourself out of this? Like, why are you guys talking about that? Why, like, you're acting so shady. Like, what if they say they think we did? Just tell them the guy never came in the house. Why would they say it at all? You're innocent. No one was suggesting he was in the house. No one at that time. Okay, got in through Jen. Okay, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. No one was suggesting that at all. He threw it out there out of nowhere. Like, why would they? I don't know.
Think about that exact quote. Tell him to say the guy never came in the house. And Brian Albert, the patriarch of the family. Exactly. Exclamation point.
But I don't think he brought up the if she takes a plea thing. And by the way, Bev let this go on for 84 minutes. I was very surprised. She didn't. Good for her. I mean, that was ridiculous last time with the cutting off. I still think it's too short, but at least she didn't cut him off. That was horrible.
He blessed it. With the truth, as we all know, you don't need to get your story straight. You don't need to tell someone what to say. It's just the truth. And what about the Google search? A Google search that Jennifer McCabe admitted having made. A Google search that was timestamped by Celebrite at 2:27 a.m. A Google search that read, Hosslong to die in cold. It is uncontested and undisputed that search was deleted. If the 2:27 a.m. timestamp is not true, why does Jennifer McCabe have to lie about it? Why delete it? If the 2:27 a.m. timestamp is not true, why create a false story about Karen screaming Google hypothermia? That's just a fabrication. That's just a made-up fact. And by the way, if someone does tell you Google hypothermia, why would you Google how long it takes to die in cold?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just Google hypothermia?
Or like how long to get hypothermia? How long to die in cold? What? Yeah, remember. Yeah, Jennifer McCabe claims that's such a good point that's never been brought up before. I'm glad that he said that.
Jennifer McCabe enlisted Carrie Roberts to help shift the blame to Karen. Why go to that much effort?
And I noticed, so I didn't notice this. This is my first time rewatching this. They don't show the big board, the reasonable doubt big board. It was so cool throughout this whole thing. Every time he has reasonable doubt, it's going up on the big board and this like cool, hip little writing style font thing. It's going up on the big board. By the end, the big board was just filled with reasonable doubt. And the juror 18 kept looking at it. That's why I like juror 18 a lot. She just kept looking, skinny little girl, kept looking up at the big board. Every time they would put something up there, she kept looking at it. I remember that. Juror 18 is solid. I like her a lot. I'm really glad she got on.
Unless you're trying to cover for something. Keep in mind the entire foundation of her claim that Karen said Google hypothermia is this fantasy about Karen screaming it at the location, at the scene. That's her entire excuse.
So nobody knew about the big board until I tweeted it? Really? The big board was so cool. Up on the screen the whole time, every time they had reasonable doubt, another piece of reasonable doubt, Mr. Woke would throw it up there. He had the theme, and he would just, another piece would go up on the reasonable doubt big board. It was so cool. And the jury saw it. What the fuck is with the cameraman? Like, what's his problem? Why are we just looking at Alan Jackson? Show the big board.
But that story went completely off the rails when Carrie Roberts admitted that she perjured herself to back up Jennifer McCabe's false story. That was a dramatic moment in court. It's an admission of perjury, and you don't see that very often in a courtroom. It tells you everything you need to know about the character and quality of the prosecution's case and their witnesses, lying and perjury and admitting to it. A fundamental tenet of any investigation is to ensure that witnesses are independent and not influenced by other witnesses. You start by separating the witnesses. Michael Proctor did none of that in this case, and we see the results. Think back to Jennifer McCabe's own text messages with Carrie Roberts. About Carrie Roberts, not with Carrie Roberts, notably. What Carrie Roberts didn't know was at the time she was being interviewed by the police, Jennifer McCabe was in real time. She was bragging about having influenced Carrie's testimony or her statements to the Alberts and the McCabes. Quote, she's telling them everything, all the stuff. Remember that timeline that we talked about with Jennifer McCabe? That's what she was referring to. She's telling them everything that Jennifer McCabe had put in Carrie Roberts' timeline. The Commonwealth wants you to believe that Karen Reed made a statement at the location, at the scene. I hit him. I'm sure you'll hear that from the prosecution in their final arguments. But their own witnesses contradict that. Jennifer McCabe admitted on cross-examination that her very first statement to law enforcement, confirmed that Karen didn't say anything. She asked, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Is he dead? The physics and the science answer that question. Could you have hit him? No, you couldn't have.
No.
Sergeant Buchanan also testified that the only statements Karen Reed made at the scene, according to his conversations with the first responders, was, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? It wasn't a confession. It was confusion. And Dr. Russell explained that confusion. She told you why Karen Reed or anybody in that position might ask those questions. She was suffering from extreme grief reaction.
Not that it matters. And I don't care if Karen Reed confessed this to me tomorrow. It would change nothing. I'd be like, I don't give a shit what you say. The facts of the matter, it's physically impossible. So you're high. I don't care about anything you're saying right now. That means nothing to me. It means absolutely fucking nothing to me if she confessed to this tomorrow. Nothing. Her words to me mean fucking dick all. And I love how Hank spends so much time playing. This is the one criticism I'll say of this, as I wish that the defense played some of those clips with the whole context. And the bigger point that they should have said about those clips, okay, is that the Commonwealth is alleging that these clips are some sort of confession, that she's giving away hints and clues that she actually did it, right? That she did it. Why would she do that? That makes no sense at all. Like, they're alleging that she went on Dateline and confessed to this all. So she went on Dateline after she hired 3 attorneys who were putting on a third-party culprit defense alleging someone else did it. And then she's like, fuck it, I'm going to go on TV and say, I did it? That makes, use your head. clearly there's probably more to these clips that you didn't see. Clearly there's probably more. And I think they should have said something about that, or you don't have to play all of them. Just play one. Just take one clip and say, here's what Hank showed you. Here's the whole clip. And they are allowed to do that. Here's what Hank said. Here's the whole clip. It'll take 2 minutes to do that. You don't even have to show the rest. You'd be like, see, he deceived you. Trust, if he deceives you about one, assume he's deceiving you about all. We don't have time to go through all of them and show you each one point. Like, if he's going to do it once, he would do it more than once. Done.
Which, according to the evidence, can last for years. Even her medical records confirm that diagnosis. It's common to ask those questions in grief. It's common to ask those types of questions in shock. You're trying to make sense out of the nonsensical in the moment. And the Commonwealth has tried to twist those words into a confession. There is no evidence that any officer at the scene ever heard Karen Reed say, I hit him. Not a single police officer at the scene came in to support the Commonwealth's claim. It's not on video. It's not on audio. It's not in a single police report. It's not in a single EMT or EMS report. Nowhere. The fact is, Karen never said,
And I'd point out, he didn't call any of these cops either. Brennan didn't call any of these police officers because we would cross-examine them about that, and they would confirm to you that this happened, that she never said this. There's a reason that's abnormal for prosecutors not to call any cops.
I hit him. You saw the video. Multiple officers were right there. She simply never said it. What did Jennifer McCabe do and not do when she got to 34 Fairview? She would have you believe, I want to set the scene for you, that she's confronted out of the blue with John O'Keefe's lifeless body. Her friend, John O'Keefe. He's bruised and battered. He's bleeding. His eyelid is cut. His nose is bleeding. Karen is screaming at the top of her lungs. Carrie is screaming back to Karen, shut up. Both women begin crying. Both women are giving CPR. There's chaos everywhere. It's building in the yard, just feet from Brian Albert's house, Brian Albert's window. Jennifer calls her sister at 6:07 with all this chaos going on. No answer. Jennifer calls her sister at 6:08 with all this chaos and bedlam going on. Still no answer. No lights come on in the house. In the midst of all this screaming and this chaos, Brian Albert doesn't come outside. Nicole Albert doesn't come outside during this maelstrom. And yet, Jennifer McCabe never goes inside to check on her sister. There's literally no signs of life inside the house. And Jennifer McCabe doesn't take a step inside that house to check on her family.
What would you do?
Why is that? Does that make any sense? Everyone would sprint inside the house to make sure that there's no one in there that was hurt or injured or, God forbid, dead. Everyone would do that.
Everyone.
But not Jennifer McCabe. The only way that makes sense is if Jennifer McCabe already knew that Brian and Nicole were just fine. That's the only reasonable explanation. And the only way she would know that they were fine is if she knew what happened. But Michael Proctor never explored this incredibly suspicious behavior. Don't you have questions? This would give anyone reasonable doubt. And don't you have questions also about Brian Higgins? Michael Proctor certainly didn't. Higgins had been sending flirtatious and romantic texts to John's girlfriend, Karen Reed. You'll remember I asked Sergeant Buchanan a simple question. Were those texts flirtatious in nature? He refused to answer that simple question. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Quote, I'm not comfortable putting a label on that, end quote. We read the texts. It's not a secret. Of course they were flirtatious. Of course they were romantic in nature. The reason he refused to answer that simple question is telling. It's because these flirtatious texts established a motive for Brian Higgins.
Right.
Sergeant Buchanan could not bring himself to tell the truth. His bias was on full display. He was covering for another cop. Investigators also ignored Higgins' suspicious late-night visit to the Canton Police Department. That was after a night of drinking, by the way. Why didn't they investigate this? What was so important that Higgins needed to go to the police station at that time, 1:30 in the morning, while drunk, by the way? Why weren't they interested in those facts? Remember, he's an ATF agent. He's a cop, a member of the Blue Wall, and best friends with Brian Albert. He would know that the CPD would be the first to get the call when someone reported John missing or injured. He would know what to look for, what to listen for, to determine if a report had been made and when and what the response was going to be. You saw the skulking through the hallways with his hood up, moving bags between cars.
And they're showing the video of, why the fuck did the cameraman not show this? They're showing all the videos on the screen of Higgins walking around the fucking Canton Police Department. Like, it was so cool seeing him. They show the video of him on the phone. What the fuck's he doing? The cameraman doesn't show this, really?
And of course, that late night mysterious phone call on his cell phone, a phone that you don't have and that you'll never see. All of that, and Michael Proctor never gave him a second look. All of that in the Commonwealth, who's supposed to be after the truth, didn't call him to the stand. If you have any unanswered questions about Brian Higgins, that's reasonable doubt. The police didn't interview Brian Higgins on January 29th, 2022, but he was at the police station, as we've just seen. You heard evidence that Higgins and Chief of Police Kenny Berkowitz, also good friends, were in the Sallyport together with the SUV for a, quote, wildly long time.
Wildly long time.
Kelly Dever, another Boston cop, told you that. She also told law enforcement agents that she found it, quote, weird that Higgins could have access to that very sensitive evidence, the SUV. Folks, there is never a situation in which a witness, a potential suspect even, should be given access to the evidence in a case. But that's exactly what happened here. Higgins was given unfettered access to that SUV.
I like how they're using Kelly Devers. It doesn't matter if she took it back at a previous time. She testified. It was a risky move bringing her on, but it worked out. They got to use this shit in the closing. She testified that she previously testified that they were in there. That's it. Doesn't matter. Take what you want from the, oh, she took it back. She had a bad false memory. Okay, sure. If you believe it, she did testify to that. Under oath, she testified that fucking happened. Period. End of story. You could see, she could change her fucking story all you want now. She testified to what she testified about. Period.
And its taillight nearly immediately, according to Kelly Devers' statement to law enforcement. And it was at that exact time, the exact moments that Higgins would be at that Sallyport, that the 42 minutes of the Sallyport video is just missing. It's just gone, vanished. Well, that's convenient. Now put in context the condition of that taillight when it was actually seized in Dighton. It was cracked, but not completely damaged. I ask you to compare and contrast Officer Kelly Dever, her attitude, her demeanor. That's all for you to judge. Her attitude, her demeanor, her truthfulness, her motives from the witness stand. Compare and contrast that to Sergeant Nick Barrows.
Yep.
Who's more believable? Officer Barrows is unattached to any of the players in this grand play directed by Michael Proctor. He's truly independent. And what did he tell you? Was the taillight, he was asked, was the taillight in this condition when Michael Proctor picked up that SUV at 412? His answer? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It was cracked, but not completely damaged, not smashed out like that. So how did the taillight get cracked? How did it end up in the condition where it was cracked, as Officer Barrows saw it?
That's such a good point. They definitely called them back. I think they were back-to-back witnesses, and just compare and contrast the difference between these two cops. One's from Canton, the other's from Dighton, which is nowhere near Canton. And look at the way they handle themselves. Look at their attitude. Look at the way they carry themselves. Who's the better cop here? Who do you trust more of these two, to be honest?
But not completely damaged. Well, you don't have to guess. There's a video. Just watch. That's how it got cracked. And Judson Welcher's own recreation confirms it. Look at the contact. That's from the Commonwealth's expert. And that further is confirmed by the fact that there were no taillight pieces found in any of the initial searches conducted at the scene. 2 searches, 50-foot area searched. Not a single fragment was found until after Michael Proctor had access to and control of that SUV and its taillight. What does that say about the character and quality?
I mean, that's exactly like one thing I think they could have done there is showed the Sallyport. I mean, get the timeline down, because they say, oh, it's impossible for them to have got taillight there. No, it's not. CERT team starts 12:21. And another thing they didn't stress was like, who found the taillight? We don't know. O'Hara never said. There was 3 mystery men there, right? The search begins at 5:21. I think that's where he testified, or 5:23, something like that. The car arrives at 5:35. There is a man walking who was with Proctor, walking from the taillight section out of the garage at 5:37. At 5:41, that's when someone, we don't know who, found taillight. That means there's probable cause that it could have been planted.
Quality of this case.
I mean, a reasonable doubt. I
Revealing what
apologize.
happened
Reasonable
here at trial.
doubt, not probable cause.
One of the most dramatic moments probably of the trial, Kelly Dever. How can you trust this investigation when you saw how far a police officer will go? You had a front row seat to the power of police manipulation and police corruption. A front row seat.
Front row seat.
Kelly Dever was interviewed by a separate law enforcement agency, not a friendly department, not Boston Police Department, not Michael Proctor's MSP,
the FBI,
a different independent agency. She told those law enforcement agents in a formal interview that she saw Brian Higgins and Chief Kenny Berkowitz alone in the Sallyport with the SUV. She was detailed, she was clear, she was unequivocal, she remembered the specifics, she recalled how it made her feel, quote, weird. She recalled how long Higgins spent a quote, wildly long time, as she described. These are all incredible details to tell law enforcement. She couldn't have been clearer. She couldn't have been more specific. But then she's put on a witness list and she's subpoenaed by the defense.
By the defense.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Then this rookie cop was called up to the police commissioner's office, the same commissioner that was the boss of Brian Albert. They have a meeting, a private meeting, and he says, wink, wink, nod, nod, we support you, Officer Dever.
I saw an awesome TikTok the other day about this, and one of those AI TikToks where they play It's a Bittersweet Symphony of whatever, and there's like a picture of her sitting in Commissioner Cox's office. It's so cool. I got to find that video. If anyone has that TikTok, send it to me. It's a good one. I'd like to play that.
What else was said in that meeting? What else is reasonable to believe was said in that meeting? She claimed she couldn't remember. She claimed not to remember if he instructed her to do the right thing. But the commissioner of the Boston Police Department certainly said something to this rookie cop. And all of a sudden, that detailed, unambiguous, unequivocal statement to law enforcement became, what did she say? A false memory.
False memory, yeah.
Not I didn't say it. She admitted she said it. She admitted she detailed the entire story. She just said, it's a false memory. What?
What? What?
So she's called to the commissioner's office to make sure that she would do the right thing. That's why she was called. And now we know what that means. In her words, my entire career depends on what I say here on the stand. I'll quote that again. Quote, my entire career depends on what I say here on the stand. You bet it does. That's how it works. And that's how we got here. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, can you trust the Commonwealth's case? Can you trust their witnesses? Can you trust their evidence? And here are a few of the highlights. A video that was played in a courtroom and sold as accurate. Turns out it was completely inverted, flipped backward, completely false. The test that formed the basis of their entire theory of the case. Watch closely as Dr. Welcher stands as a surrogate. Is that a righteous test? Or is that a manipulation? Dr. Welcher tried to deceive and fool you by leaning into the car, manipulating the results of his own test. When the truth was revealed by Dr. Rentschler, the Commonwealth spent the next hour cross-examining about how that test was meaningless. It actually didn't mean anything. Well, that's convenient now that we realize that it was a manipulated test, and it actually does mean nothing. It didn't represent the theory of the Commonwealth's case. That's what was suggested. If that test does not represent the theory of the Commonwealth's case, really? Then why was Dr. Welcher playing dress-up in John O'Keefe's clothes, or identical clothes to John O'Keefe, when he was holding a glass? Why was he holding the glass right behind the vehicle? And why was he standing with his right arm oriented to the right rear taillight?
Oh, I love that one.
Meaningless. It actually didn't mean anything. Well, that's convenient now that we realize that it was a manipulated test, and it actually does mean nothing. It didn't represent the theory of the Commonwealth's case. That's what was suggested. If that test does not represent the theory of the Commonwealth's case, really? Then why was Dr. Welcher playing dress-up in John O'Keefe's clothes, or identical clothes to John O'Keefe, when he was holding a glass? Why was he holding the glass right behind the vehicle? And why was he standing with his right arm oriented to the right rear taillight?
I mean, like, seriously, why did he do that? What a fucking joke that he did that. You dressed up as him, dude, but it wasn't a recreation of the test. Then what was the purpose of dressing up like him?
Trying to recreate the circumstance that is the Commonwealth's entire theory. The Commonwealth stood up here with a straight face and told you they weren't trying to suggest that that's how John was hit by the car. Of course they were trying to suggest that's their theory of the case. They only abandoned it 2 days ago when it was revealed by our experts that it's physically impossible. That silent witness, that science, that physics has become very pesky to the Commonwealth.
Very.
Because there was no collision.
Nope.
Dr. Welcher also told you under oath that there were no x-rays taken of John's arm. He tried to deceive you into believing that John's arm might have been broken. I don't know. I didn't see any x-rays, so I can't tell you what the damage was inside the arm. Really? The Commonwealth has had those x-rays in their possession for 3 years. And again, it took the defense to bring out the truth. The x-rays do not fit the Commonwealth's theory.
Really? Runkle said this is the best closing he's ever seen? That's amazing.
And my goodness.
There's the x-rays.
Then we get to the sweatshirt. That was a moment. Mr. Brennan stood here in front of you and dramatically held up John's sweatshirt.
Look at those x-rays. They hid those fucking x-rays.
But to you. And asked Dr. Wolf about it multiple times.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the Father's Day shout out.
Specifically, while he was in that plexiglass, asked Dr. Wolf about the multiple holes in the back of the sweatshirt. He interrupted Dr. Wolf. And Dr. Wolf started to look at the sweatshirt and say, well, and he said, how about here? Here's a hole, here's a hole, here's a hole, here's a hole. Dramatically tapping on that plexiglass. It was clear what the suggestion was, that the holes in the back of John's sweatshirt were from January 29th. That's the impression that was expected to be left with you. That's the impression that he wanted.
Lawyer, said the same thing. Oh,
and
wow.
that's false. The truth is, the Commonwealth created those holes. They aren't holes from road rash. They weren't made on January 29th. Those are cuttings from the Commonwealth's own crime lab, folks.
That's impressive.
That's what those holes are. And even with 3 prosecutors, all 3 of them, sitting right there in the room.
3 of them. 3 of them.
It had to be the defense to correct that record, to bring out the truth. If we hadn't done that, what impression would you folks have been left with? That's more than negligence. That's dangerous. It's dangerous. I'm going to guess that Mr. Brennan's not going to say much about this, about the fraud that was attempted on you.
Nah,
If
probably
he
not.
doesn't, that speaks louder than any concocted excuse that the Commonwealth might come up with. It's shameful. It's shameful. We
It
are
is.
after the truth in this courtroom.
God damn it.
You're entitled to it. Demand it. Why would the Commonwealth stoop to a stunt like that? It's desperation. They know what you now know, what their experts know. There was no collision. So now we've reached the final moments of the trial, and you've seen the facts and you've seen the evidence, and we've just talked about dozens and dozens and dozens of facts that are reasonable doubt. Each one of them are reasonable doubts. These facts, these note cards that you're looking at piled high, one on top of another, literally stacks and stacks of them covering the table. As you mentally sift through those cards, realize that every one of them is a massive hole in the Commonwealth's case. Every single one of the note cards represents a hole in the Commonwealth's case. If you're holding mentally even one of those cards, you're holding reasonable doubt, folks.
Yep.
You're holding a not guilty
Love
vote.
it. You love it. I love it.
Reasonable doubt is not a sliding scale. It's
They're
a wall.
they're really not showing it. If you're holding, wait,
Cards represent one on top of another, literally stacks and stacks of them covering the table. As
look at everyone, all the interns, everyone's looking up at the stacks of reasonable doubt. Everyone in the room was looking at it, and the cameraman doesn't show it. Are you fucking kidding me?
Mentally sift through those cards, realize that every one of them is a massive hole in the Commonwealth's case. Every single one of the note cards represents a hole in the Commonwealth's
Do they
case. If
show
you're
it at
holding
all?
mentally even one of those cards, you're holding reasonable doubt, folks. You're holding a not guilty verdict.
I wish I could have taken a picture.
Reasonable doubt is not a sliding scale. It's a wall. If the Commonwealth cannot get over every one of these dozens of walls, you have to acquit Karen Reed. The truth is, Karen Reed is not guilty. Not because of technicalities, but because the facts, the law, the science, the physics, the data, they all say so. They demand it. The Commonwealth does not have a theory about how John was hit by the car. They haven't even shown you that it's possible that he was hit by a car. And the reason they haven't is because it's not possible that he was hit by a car. There was no collision. Your job is not to do their job, their burden entirely. It's theirs. They have to prove this case and their theory beyond all reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. And not only do they not have a theory, they can't prove one that doesn't exist. All you need to know is that the Commonwealth failed. They failed to provide you with a truthful representation. They failed to prove the essence of their case, that John was even hit by a car to begin with. They failed to prove any intent on the part of Karen Reed because she has none. They failed to investigate the actual suspects in this case. They failed to present the lead investigator to you. They failed to justify the perjured testimony that you heard discussed in this case. They failed to hold accountable an officer who came in here and lied to you and claimed false memories so she could do the right thing to cover for a fellow cop or cops. They failed to maintain a fair and unbiased and honest investigation. They failed to present you with the truth. And this is what you get. An investigation that's riddled with errors and omissions and a rush to judgment and conflicted and corrupted from the start. Every part of it. That is the literal definition of reasonable doubt. How can they ask you to be morally
Reasonable doubt.
based on this evidence? It's a
Reasonable
tragedy.
doubt.
When the government fails so completely, so catastrophically, when there are dozens and dozens of points of reasonable doubt on the table, your duty, your oath is clear. Your sworn obligation under the law is to acquit Karen Reed, not just because you can, because you must. Justice demands it. Do not let the Commonwealth get away with this. Don't let them get away with this. Do not endorse and sanction an investigation that is broken and corrupted top to bottom. But just as importantly, do not let Michael Proctor get away with it. And make no mistake about it, folks. If you convict Karen Reed of anything, if you convict her of anything, science, the physics, the data, they lose. But tragically, Michael Proctor wins. Remember his texts. Something stinks. Yeah, the serious charges will be brought on the girl. She's fucked. Could you ever say to yourself, this is justice?
Nope.
The fact is there was no collision. A car did not kill John O'Keefe.
Nope.
So I ask you, let your voice be heard, not in whispers, but in truth. Let the community feel through your verdict that justice cannot be bent and that it will not be buried. Find Karen Reed not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh, love it. Love it. And then what? Then watch this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this gay ass shit. Look at him. Look at this fucking look at this fucking bitch ass motherfucker. Try to be all dramatic and like this one's for you, Peggy. The way he looks at it, it's like, this one's for you, Peggy. He tries to be like, he's just we're not even going to watch Spanky's tonight because it's getting late and I don't have the mental capacity for it right now. But I will break this down Monday if there's no verdict. God forbid. If there's no verdict Monday, I will rip. We'll have to have something to talk about. So we'll listen to Spanky's bullshit and I will rip it apart. But just look at the way this his entire fucking thing was just one gigantic appeal to emotion. John's dead. John was a great guy. John was the best. Yep. Yeah, for sure. John did nothing wrong and John was innocent. 1,000% agree there, Spanky. We all agree on that, motherfucker. That if that's all you got, you ain't got much. And then a bunch of like, Dateline clips, like you got nothing. Your own investigation has nothing. It's all shit Karen said on Dateline. That's not a fucking, and just the way he looks at her, like, look, this is so gay how he tries to be like, this is for you, dear. Look at her. Look at him. Look at this gay shit. Look at him. Oh, yeah.
John O'Keefe was 46 years old.
Oh.
46 years old. He spent his life helping people. He's described as a good man, kind, generous, thoughtful. He was a Boston police officer. He worked to help the community. Everything you've heard about this man, he was a good man.
All right. So we'll stop it there. All right. So we'll do Spanky's Monday if we don't get a verdict. Okay. If we do get a verdict, we'll listen to it another time for sure. And we'll just laugh at him. I mean, if we do get a verdict and it's obviously not guilty, we'll go fucking wild. Ape shit's gonna be awesome. But hold on one sec. I don't like what happened to my mic. What's going on there? Nope, that's not good. Oh, that works. All right, cool. All right, so let me read some turtle chats here. Let's get some conversation started. Let's see what's happening. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. It's a very confusing day for some people in Lawrence, but for everybody else, happy Father's Day. Okay. All right. I got to find where we started. Was the last one I read Spanky's Tiny Weasel? I think it was. Okay. The Albert Family Rock sends $10, goes, thought experiment. If there was such a thing as a modified bench trial where Kearney still runs the show, but the verdict is issued by a different random judge, do you take that option or still go jury in Karen's shoes? I would take that option. I'd have to know who the other judge is, though. I'd have to know who the other judge is. But as somebody who was just acquitted on a bench trial, if Judge Pomerol was on the case, I would take him. If Judge Mathers was on the case, I would take him. If Judge Squires Lee was on the case, I would take her. If Judge Doolin was on the case, I would take him. There's a lot of judges that I'd be like, yep, I would go with that judge over a jury. But we'll see. If it was Judge Krupp, I would not. I would be like, that guy fucking hates me. No, thank you. Mary sends $5, goes, now that you've been found not guilty in the case against the fake victim, do you think you'll take legal action against the players that set you up to be falsely accused? Well, I'm still facing charges for the setup. So no, I'm not out of the woods on the witness intimidation charges. That was just the misdemeanor violation of a restraining order. I got other charges on her. So thank you. Gray sends $10, goes, what are your thoughts on the foreman not taking any notes the entire trial? Any other jurors do that? Thanks for all you do. From my history as a teacher, the kids that didn't take notes often, there were some kids that just sat in class and just didn't take notes, but they listened. They didn't retain every fact, but they listened. So I think he's just a listener. He's just an overall, do you get it kind of guy. And I think he gets it. I hope. So thank you. Reed sends $10, goes, was Jess Machado asked if she attended the funeral? I don't think she was. Let's see. Courtney sends $10, goes, if you had to pick garage or basement, I would say that could be both. He could have been beaten up in the basement and brought up to the garage, or the fight could have just started in the garage. Which it's just weird. Like if he's going to run into the house, why would he go in the garage first? It's just a weird place to run. Wouldn't make much sense. So I think at least his phone was brought to the garage. So I don't know. I think his body at some point was definitely in the garage. I think that's just my guess. All right, next. The ham sandwich, Patterson sends $10, goes, listen, Dr. Turtle Daddy, did you happen to catch what juror or jurors that Hanky was really performing to? It seemed he was targeting. If so, did they make it on to deliberate? No, not really. I don't think so. Brandy from Stoughton sends 10 and goes, hi, Dr. Daddy. First, congrats on your well-deserved win against the fake victim. Hashtag free the closet, baby. Yesterday, I flew out of work from Wellesley and down to the courthouse. I got there just in time to throw AJ some flowers for Karen. I didn't get to give them to her myself, but seeing her smiling and holding them was enough. Also had pink cookies for your kids, but missed you somehow. Next time. Free Kearney and free Turtleboy. I appreciate the cookies, whatever. I would make a request to people in general. I can't take any gifts or anything during, like, when you guys, like, a million people want to come up to me with, like, trinkets, like, here's another turtle keychain or something. Like, I said it before and I'll say it again so you don't waste your time. As soon as I get the stuff that you give me, the turtle keychain immediately goes in the trash. Like, it couldn't go in the trash any faster. And that's not to, like, disrespect you or be a dick. It's just telling you that it's a waste of your time. I will not appreciate it the way you think I will. I can't. It's just one more thing I have in my pockets that I have to take out when I go through the fucking metal detector 5 times that day. It's annoying. Like, as soon as I get it, like, I'm being real with you. You could say I'm being a dick, whatever. Like, if you give me shit, if you give me, like, oh, here's this thing I thought about. It's a really thoughtful gift I came up with you. It's a turtle keychain. Another one. I always politely will say to your face, oh, thank you, whatever. As soon as I get it, I throw in the trash, like, immediately. I don't have any more room for shit, for stuff, for junk. I can't do it. It's the thought that counts. I know, but I just know it, and that's okay. As long as you can accept that as soon as I get it, it just immediately goes in the trash. Immediately. Except for cash. Cash stays with me. So if you want to put money in my G-string, I will allow it. And I'm just being polite. I'm just telling you right now. I could pretend like I'm like, oh, this is a very thoughtful gift that I will hold on to forever. And some people ask me that. Do you still have that keychain I gave you? Nope. No, I threw that away a long time ago. Why'd you do that? Because I don't have room for junk in my house. What the fuck am I going to do with that? I got it just right in the trash. Right in the trash. Okay. All right. Back to this. I mean, I'm just being real. I don't want you wasting your time. Okay. All right. Back to this. Where did we go? Okay. Mike and Jill sends $10, goes, hey, but I'll take cookies. Like if you make cookies and they're good, I might take them. I don't know. We'll see. I just can't be carrying around shit too. Keep that in mind too. Like when I'm walking around, doing the rounds, taking pictures of people, I can't be holding a whole bunch of shit either. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Okay. Mike and Jill send $10. Hey, Aidan, thanks for taking a picture with our teenage boys yesterday. Was that the one with the 18th birthday? We had to bring them down to see the incredible scene. Thanks for all you do. Free Karen Reed. Mike and Jill. Thanks, Mike and Jill. Jared sends $5, goes, hi, Turtle. My little sister, got married tonight, and we sat with the family member after family member discussing the case and giving you credit for exposing all. Can you please say congrats to Cheryl and Pete? We are home already and watching. Congratulations, Cheryl and Pete. Now go consummate the marriage and go fuck. Go do it right now. Your brother doesn't want to think about that, but you better do it right now. Go fuck. Consummate that marriage. Next up, thank you. Erica sends $10 and goes, Turtle, tell Krista B from St. Louis to check her Facebook messages. I asked her if I could meet up and ride with her to Massachusetts. I can't make that drive by myself, and I don't live too far from her. There you go. Krista B from St. Louis that's driving in from St. Louis. You got a partner that wants to come in with you. All right, there you go. All right, next up. Let's see. Aunt Jemima sends $10 and goes, I wonder if the crash daddies have ever been treated that way testifying before. They deserve a bonus for dealing with the shit about a ham sandwich and being questioned about their wife. Yeah, Spanky, my wife knows she's innocent. Science, bitch. Exactly. Will Wallace sends $25 and goes, based on the description of the black jurors, with the exception of the older lady, Karen Reed is getting off. Also, based on age demographic, my opinion, every juror has watched your show at some point. Like they're listening to Bias Bev. Fuck out of here. I know there's just no way that none of these people has like like they've told their friends, especially juror number 4, who likes to talk. Like there's no way he hasn't told his pals that like he's on the jury, the Karen Reed jury. Of course he is. And of course his friends have watched it. And of course his friends are saying that bitch not guilty. You know what I mean? Next. Danielle sends $25 and goes, thank you for exposing horrible corruption en masse and fighting for our First Amendment rights. If it hits even harder on the 250 year of our fearless army that helped fight for our freedoms. Amen. Carter sends $5 and goes, let's say it was an accident. He fell and hit his head. Still doesn't explain the cut on his eye, the bites on his arm. Why is it for the people inside the home that night? Why was their first instinct to cover it up and frame an innocent woman? In 2025, they must have felt pretty confident that this was going to be an open and shut case. Exactly. Sean McDonough's Metamucil sends $10, goes, don't give me up. I'm just an elderly man in Florida. Okay, McDonough. I might give you up still. We'll see. Krista from Canada sends $5, goes, the hand gesture means I love you sign in sign language. Congrats on your not guilty. I'm feeling a not guilty for Karen on Monday. Thanks for all you do. I'm feeling it too, baby. Let's go. Marianne sends $10, goes, the O'Keefes were holding court at Dedham VFW yesterday. I wonder if Meatball Morrissey will show up like last trial. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Did he actually show up there? I don't know if there's proof of that, but Shaylee sends $10, goes, I had no idea Alessi was doing this pro bono. I don't think I could love him anymore. Did Paul end up testifying in your case? If so, where can I see it? Yes, he did. And I will be airing the whole thing shortly. It's like 10 hours of testimony though. So it's going to take a while. So thanks. Okay. Monique New sends $25 and says the diffuser through line in this trial was my highlight of today. I don't know what that means. From the criminalist making sure the jury knew there were diffusers rolling around in the bag, I wondered why. Turns out to be one of the most obvious oversights. The light wouldn't work. She made sure to hold up those pieces. I like her more now. Okay, thank you. Jennifer sends $25 and goes, when is your next court date? From Greenfield, Indiana. Pronounced Greenfield. Okay. We have one of those in Mass too. Nervous for Karen, but you're going to prevail. My next court date, it was scheduled for June 20th, but I got my sister's wedding, so I can't make it. But yeah, there's that. And that would be this week, right? Yeah, so that can't work. I still have to get arraigned for the I was indicted for the window intimidation, so whatever that means. Lori sends $10, goes, some people of color may be cop haters. Bring in Dan Bongino to clear out these feds. Love you. I don't know what any of that means, but okay. Amy sends $25 and goes, sending a 2-party because the first one I sent was a huge congrats for your not guilty verdict this week. I also want to say the appreciation and respect shared between people like you, Jess Machado, and BLT is palpable and felt all the way over here on the West Coast. You are all such incredible, good-hearted people fighting injustices, and I'm grateful to have come across you by following the Karen Reed trial. Well, thank you very much, Amy. Lorca sends $5 and goes, once Karen Reed's acquitted, will you have your own channel for a sit-down interview? It will be fantastic. I can't wait for the movie Free Karen Reed and Free Turtleboy. Yes, that is something Karen and I have discussed, and I'd like to do it in person and sell tickets to it. It would be dope. That'd be a hot ticket, wouldn't it? That'd be fun. Thank you. KW Dread sends $15, goes, Hank Lally and Michael Gaffney all sit down to pee. True facts. Okay. Amy, you sent another. You can't do this, guys. Amy sent a $25 turtle chat. I appreciate it, but this is too long. Just like, you can't do this. You just can't do it. I can't read the whole thing. I appreciate it, but you can't read. I'll read part of it. Thank you for not blasting me last week when I asked about your favorite topic of why the defense didn't do more to recreate the key cycles. Unfortunately, DeSogra didn't clear this up as much as I thought he would last trial because he was contesting that a 1162 was the backing up of the toe, but trial. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the $25, Amy. Nancy sends $10, goes, wouldn't it be amazing if David Yannetti hired Karen after this is all over? She sure has plenty of experience prepping for her own trial. She could be an admin in his office. I'm sure she appreciates the gesture, but I think Karen Reed has bigger plans when this is all said and done. Thank you. Okay, next up. TG sends $100. Thank you. And says, in AJ's close, he accused the commissioner of Boston police of corruption, right? A rookie cop meets the commish privately and changes her testimony to a false memory. This should be investigated. You would think, TG, you would think. Thank you. JD sends $50, goes, I haven't reached out since the horrible jail app. Oh, that Securus app. But I've been watching and supporting from afar. Johnny was a WOMP. That's a Braintree High School graduate. And I met one of the WOMP teachers, actually, a teacher from Braintree High. I met her the other day. And WOMPs love John. The mockingbird symbol might be a cool idea from the Hunger Games. Just saying. Don't we kind of already do that? What's the mocking J symbol? Was this it? Is that the mock? I forget what it was, but I've often called Karen Reed the Mockingjay. It's kind of the role she's taken on in this. Liberty Man sends $5, goes, what happened to the rug in the basement of 34 Fairview Road? There was no rug. There's no rug in the basement. Thank you. The rug was upstairs. Bethany sends $10 and goes, definitely time to put a limit on the comment box. I saw you eating a quick piece of pizza when court let out Friday. Wondering if that was sent by Chris Albert. No, I just needed something. I needed something to eat. I just like to eat quick. I needed a little sustenance, something, just one piece of cheese does it. That's all I want. Hot cheese up front. Thank you. All right. And it was not, I would never eat Chris Albert's mediocre fucking chicken pizza or chicken parm or his cheese pizza. Marianne sends $10, goes, how can they convict Karen on OUI if her blood wasn't drawn until 7 hours later? She could have gone home and had a bottle of wine. Exactly. But it's not like they spent time defending that. And then you got Karen on video going, yeah, I was too buzzed to drive. Oops, that sucks. Yep. That might be enough. We'll see. All right. Kristen sends $25, goes, congrats on your not guilty. I can't get enough of your outro. Karen and Yannetti disgust for Hank is everything. Happy Father's Day to you and all the FKR daddies. Love and support from Wisconsin. I met a cheesehead the other day. I've met Missouri, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I met the other day, Illinois, Indiana, somebody from Fort Wayne, nonetheless, a Bishop Dwenger mom. That's where my dad went to high school, was Bishop Dwenger. And she must have remembered I said that one time. Where else? California, Utah. I've met a couple from Utah, Colorado, Arizona, Texas. I've met a few from Texas, Florida. I don't know if I've met a North Carolina yet, but I don't know. It'd be a cool, if you're from another state and you're at any of this shit, just come over and tell me so I can get credit for another state. I love that shit. All right. Thanks. Aaron sends $25, goes free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy. Happy Bunker Hill Day, Charlestown. Yes. Go watch The Town tonight to celebrate. Laura sends $5, goes, John text to Karen to come drive him. I'm not victim shaming, but he then bought her drinks and knew she'd be driving him. Take that, Peggy. Stop blaming Karen. She's factually innocent. That's a good point. It's a fair point. A lot of people wouldn't say that, but it's the truth. Deanna sends $25, goes, if you could just remind people not to send your friends stories for you to expose, that would be great. Also, see everyone on Monday. Don't forget, it has been requested that we support the team with silence when they arrive and leave. Use the Signal. Not the Signal app, the Signal. Just do that. They like that shit. It speaks volumes. The media loves that too. It's cool. It's cool to do that, But I would just say like, what was it? Oh yeah. And because they do that all the time. They love to send Deanna and Meredith like story, and Richie or whoever like story, like tell Turtleboy this if they try me first and then it doesn't get through, and it's not going to get any better going through them. You know what I mean? So thank you, Deanna. Marina sends $10 and goes, congrats, Turtleboy, on your win. Can you shout out to my husband? Happy Father's Day to Barber Al. Free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy. Happy Father's Day, Barber Al. You're a great person. Thank you very much. Okay, next up. Carrie Burke from Wisconsin sends $10 and goes, kind of sad Yannetti got sidelined a bit on this trial, especially since he's the OG. He would have done just as well in the closing. Thoughts? Longtime lurker, first chat ever. I'm sure everything, they were fine with it. I'm sure he was. Liza Little didn't talk a lot either, but I'm sure she was very active in the defense. Okay, Ernie sends $10, goes, I wish the magnitude of beyond a reasonable doubt could be compared to the awful decision of pulling the plug on a loved one. Good point. It's a good analogy. How much proof would they need to make that choice? It should be no less when dealing with the life and liberty of another. That's such a good analogy. I like that a lot. If you wouldn't pull the plug on a loved one, then you shouldn't convict a stranger. You shouldn't, because it's the same idea. You would not pull the plug on a loved one if you thought there was any chance they could survive, right? And it's the same here. You should not convict anyone if you think there's any chance they're ignorant. I mean, innocent. You can't do it. Thank you. The Albert family rock sends $10, goes, one of Runkle's dogs is named Zora. She's got no thumbs, but at least she doesn't make McAlbert documentaries. That's true. The Albert family rock sends $10, goes, do you think Hank will try to have a career after this trial, or is he trying to make enough off of it to retire? No, he thinks this is like a career starter. This trial has done major damage to his reputation. Yes, it has. Lori sends $5, goes, my son and daughter-in-law, who actually live right up the street from you in Princeton, nice, said to me yesterday, there's no chance 12 people decide guilty. It's either not guilty or hung. Regardless, she's walking like she should. I want to say big congrats to you're not guilty. Like you said, last Saturday. Good must defeat evil. It simply must. Exactly. And I agree with everything you said there. They'll never convict. But at this point, a mistrial, you know, although it's good that Karen gets to walk out of there and sleep in her bed that night, it's bad because it just, it never ends. And it has to end, man. It has to end. Ruth. And if that's with the DUI, then she'll take it, you know. Ruth sends $10, goes, what are the odds that the freedom celebration for Karen Reed will be over the 4th of July? A true Independence Day. I'm an RN and I have 6 days off. Oh, how I'd love to come halfway across the country to celebrate Karen. Free Karen Reed and Turtleboy from St. Louis. Nice. And justice for John O'Keefe, they say. A lot of St. Louis people in here tonight, huh? How about that? Show me turtles. Melissa sends $10 and goes, hi, Turtleboy. It's a small point, and AJ absolutely crushed the closing, but I wish he would have said when he mentioned that no taillight was found until the car was in state police possession, that Yuri Buchanan even agreed to that on the stand. True. Sending much support and not guilty vibes from Southern California. Excellent. Thank you, Melissa. Brian sends $10, goes, I know it's barely masked, but please check out Martha's Vineyard police corruption. You won't believe it. Okay, I'll get right on that. Thanks. The Colombian chick sends $5 and goes, why not Higgins? He discharged cell and SIM card day before preservation notice. The behavior towards John at the waterfall. Texted Karen well. 1:30 a.m. sus video. Karen texted him, John's dead, no response. Seen at the Sally Port on Karen's SUV. The 220 butt dials. Extracted his own phone onto the kiosk. None of them went to the funeral. I mean, a lot of what you said there was brought up about Higgins, but you're right. The stuff about the SIM card destruction was not, and that was good stuff. And he's also a guy who testified that a tall man walked into the house. That bitch sends $5 and goes, I bet you $400,000 Higgins would have said that the duffel bag he took out at 1:30 from CPD was the clothes from the New York funeral he went to. Probably. Russian truck sends $5, goes, I always wondered, do you know what was the issue with Brennan towards Howie Carr that I've heard he didn't allow him back on a trial back in the day? Sounds like he wanted to do the same to you. Yeah, he represented Whitey Bulger, and Howie was like one of the biggest critics of the Bulger crime family because his brother was the Senate president, I think, Billy Bulger. And so Howie used to love those two, going at it with those guys and exposing them. So he's got a long history with Whitey Bulger. So he wanted to cover the trial, and Hank filed a motion to put Whitey Bulger on, Howie Carr on the witness list to keep him out of there. And Judge Denise Casper exempted him from the sequestration order. Blue Ball sends $5 and goes, if they flipped John the morning he was found when they called 911, so how the fuck did he hit the back of his head if he's found in his stomach? No, he wasn't. He was found in his back. So there's that. Shaylee sends $5, goes, this is my second turtle chat tonight, but I want to say that for any court proceeding, you cannot introduce your own party's statements without them testifying. The defense can't bring in any of the clips. They could. That's just wrong. They could. They were allowed to. They can argue for fullness, and they did, but it was denied by Bev. It was? That's not what I was told. Prosecution gets opposed party. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shaylee. Okay. Let me refresh this. Angry Deaver sends $5, goes, Hank and Pegleg are fucking. Who's Pegleg? Texas Turtleboy fan sends $10, goes, no matter what the defense did or didn't do in closing, it was a winner, not guilty, no collision. Love our Dr. Daddy. Thank you. Jim sends $10, goes, Jackson really pushed the corruption in his closing. Most of us have unfortunately gotten used to it in this state. True. Mike sends $5 and goes, who was originally, Mike Saya was one of my witnesses. We didn't end up calling him because it was just kind of overkill with, we didn't want to keep pushing it too much. But he says, great to see justice was upheld in district court this week. Thanks for being so kind to take a minute to chat with my daughter outside the courthouse Friday. We support justice and truth, and I'm proud to pass your example down to the next generation. Keep fighting. We will be there. Well, thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that. Your daughter was really nice to meet your daughter too. Kathy sends $5, goes, hi, Kathy from Reno, Nevada. Happy Father's Day. So tomorrow or all the McMurderers will all be together. I can't believe nobody is cracked. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Let me read some cash apps. OG Kush sends $5 and goes, congrats, bro, and thanks. My pleasure. Andrea sends $5, goes, not Karen Reed related, but I sent you a Facebook message. Okay, thanks. Jumeen sends $50 and goes, anonymous RN. I was by the registry of deed Wednesday. Oh, was that you I was talking to, Jumeen? Thank you. Karen sends $20 and goes, for Karen. Okay, thank you. Goose sends $20 and goes, open mic moment. What's that mean? Open mic moment. Thanks, Goose. The goose is loose. Okay. Not you. You're not loose, Goose. Just a saying. Carrie sends $10. I guess it's different when you say the goose is loose to a man, because most people I know whose nickname is Goose, they're a man. So when you say the goose is loose, if you're a man, that's like normal. But if you say the goose is loose and you're a woman, you're like, well, that's not good. That's kind of an insult. So thank you. Carrie sends $10, goes, happy Father's Day, Daddy. I know. Well, thank you. It is a good day to be daddy, isn't it? It's a good day. Thank you. All right. So, one last refresh of the turtle chats in case I missed anyone. We're good. All right. So it's 12:43. It's late. There's still 9,000 people here, but we didn't even get to Spanky's stupid closing. We'll roast him another time. Anyway, everybody enjoy your Father's Day tomorrow. And we will see you guys all on Monday. Get your ass to Dedham to be part of history. Hang out. Wait for that verdict to come in. And it's going to be a good day, man. It's going to be a good day. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.
It calls for data including calendars, alerts, reminders, notes, text messages, pictures, or videos from April 1st, 2023 through and including October 5th, 2023. 7 months of
Punch yo!